Good morning, everyone. We got a big announcement to make at the top, so we'll be on in just a minute. Big announcement. If you know what it is, don't say it yet. Well, I'm sure somebody probably will. But big important announcement to make. Huh? You think so? We'll find out in a minute. Oh, the reason, this is not the big announcement, you'll find out in a minute, but the reason I was having feed problems yesterday, I had my VPN on. I use a VPN because when I'm using public Wi-Fi, and I was somewhere over the weekend, I turned my VPN on and I left it on, which I normally do not do, and that's why I was having connectivity problems. But I got a big announcement coming up, so stay tuned. All right, welcome to the program, everyone. My name is Brian Craig. It is Tuesday morning, August 24th, 2021. You are listening to the Steve Kane Radio Show, Florida's longest-running radio show on the radio since 1977. Now, many of you know this, but the majority of you do not know this. We've got very sad news to report to you this morning, and it's even hard for me to say this, but over the weekend on Saturday, Richard Pearl passed away. Richard Pearl died on Saturday, and I did not know when we were on the air yesterday that he had passed away. I had a feeling. Yeah, I know, it's a pretty rough thing. Last time I talked to Richard Pearl was last Monday, so a week ago yesterday, 8 days ago. And he was in the hospital. He talked to me. It was a brief phone call. I've talked to, Richard Pearl has, if you've noticed, has not been doing his call-in for the past, tomorrow will be 3 weeks since you heard him call in live on the radio. And I knew he was sick, didn't know exactly what was going on, and I talked to Richard Pearl twice in the last couple weeks. The last time I talked to him was last Monday, a week ago yesterday, 8 days ago. But the first time I talked to him was the Friday before, and I knew something was wrong, because it's unlike him to not be here on the radio live with us and live on his own show, and not call and let us know what's going on. And he also had not called the radio station. So last Friday, that would be this Friday, it'd be 2 weeks ago, a week and a half ago, not this past week, but a week and a half ago Friday, I called him when I got off the air, and he answered the phone. And he was sounded really sick. He sounded really sick, and but he also sounded like I had woken him up, and it was right when we got off the air, so it was like 9 o'clock and 30 seconds. I called him right after the show, and he sounded, sick as hell. And that was on the Friday. That was I guess 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 days ago Friday. And he said, Brian? I said, yeah. And he sounded, he couldn't even hardly talk. So it sounded like a mix between someone like with a really bad flu or something, severe flu, and woke them up out of bed at the same time. Because I think I woke him up. And then the line went dead. So then I obviously knew he was sick, wanted to give him some rest. So I called Richard Pearl last Monday when I got off the air, and he answered the phone, and he sounded a million times better. He still sounded sick. He sounded like someone who had like a chest cold, and but he was awake and he was alert, and he said, "Hey Brian, I'm in the hospital." Very alert, just sounded like he had a chest cold. He said, "I'm in the hospital. I'll talk to you next week." And next week was yesterday. And on Saturday morning, I don't know. I just had a feeling something was really wrong, and I called him a couple of times on Saturday, and I got a couple different numbers on him, and I left him a voice message on Saturday, and I didn't hear back. And his friend that has been filling in for him made a reference on the show, on Richard Pearl's show on Saturday, and he said, "Not making any announcements, but keep Richard in your prayers." And that show is at noontime on Saturdays. Just pray for Richard. And I was like, oh boy. Yeah, and I felt the worst since last week, because I had not heard from him. He had not called me back. The conversations I had, I was hopeful because he sounded so much better when I talked to him last Monday, but I wasn't feeling too good about it since last week. And I've been getting messages and calls from a lot of you in the listening audience. You know, you need to make an announcement and all this stuff, which we did not, and for reasons that may come out as the show progresses today. And then Richard Pearl's friend, who's been filling in for him, made the announcement on Richard Pearl's show yesterday at noon, and I found out right before you guys did, officially, that Richard Pearl has died. He passed away on Saturday. So what I have shared with you is pretty much all that I know. I did talk to the store yesterday, Simply Natural, Richard Pearl's store. They are still open for business. They're going to remain open for business, and you'll continue to hear us talk about them and tell you guys about the store, but that's it. I know. It is pretty shocking to a lot of you guys, and when the announcement was made yesterday, I was getting nothing but messages from people all day long on social media, DMs, emails, phone calls. I know a lot of you left voicemail messages on our voicemail yesterday and last night and overnight and everything else. Yeah, that's what happened. So I know it is sad to hear. And this is the second person that Steve and I have known in the last 2 weeks that have passed away. Although we knew Richard Pearl a lot better than we knew Dick Farrell, it was the two people that Steve and I both knew in the last 2 weeks who have passed away. And I've known Richard Pearl since the 90s. I can't remember exactly when. I didn't know him well until the last year and a half or so. He's been advertising his store on the Steve Kane Show for the last year and a half-ish, and I've gotten to know him much better since then, but I've known him since the 90s, just acquaintances. It's about my age, too. He's a little older than I am, but not too much older. So that's that, and if you want to share your thoughts, you certainly are welcome to share them on the air today, and we'll take your calls on it, because I think people should be able to talk about things and grieve and all of that and process. And that's all I know about it. If I knew more, I would tell you. That's all I know right now. As I learn more, I will share more with you, but that's all I know right now. All right? Okay, our number is toll-free 1-888-GO-KANE 1-888-465-2631. I'm going to take our first break early. because how do I transition into something from that? So I'm going to take our first break early. I'm going to talk about the issues and things that are going on in the news as well. But your calls on Richard Pearl are certainly welcomed and appreciated. I will tell you, keep it classy, okay? And decent, and be gentlemanly and gentle, lady-ish, I would ask you to be. But yeah, so let's take our first break. We'll come back. I'll take some calls. I'll transition into the news of the day. But the passing of Richard Pearl obviously will be an ongoing theme on today's program. All right, I'm Brian Craig. You are listening to The Steve Kane Show, Florida's longest-running radio show on the radio since 1977. Our number, 1-888-GO-KANE-1. That's K-A-N-E and the number 1. 888-465-2631. We'll be right back.
If you suffer with diabetes, did you know there's a 25% chance that you will develop
Steve Kane Show. Yeah, hold on. Steve Kane Show. Hold on.
Can lead to severe health consequences up to and including amputation. Now, Medicare recognizes the importance of preventative foot care and has provided coverage for those of you who are at-risk patients. I want to introduce you to my good friends at the Soul Authority. At the Soul Authority, at little or no cost, you can receive your very own pair of therapeutic shoes made specially for diabetics. You're probably not aware, but as a diabetic Medicare recipient, you are entitled to one pair of high-quality diabetic shoes with 3 custom inserts per year. These are not the ugly Frankenstein shoes. These are name-brand shoes. They're stylish. They'll provide you with the extra width and extra depth to stop diabetic foot problems before they begin. Oftentimes, amputation due to diabetes is preventable, and one of the preventable measures that is most effective is wearing the proper shoes. Call the Soul Authority at 954-597-7060 or online at thesoulauthority.com. That's THESOLE authority.com. Tell them Steve Kane sent you.
Listen to the Steve Kane Show on iHeartRadio. Just search for W.
All right, welcome back, everyone. 13 minutes after the hour, I'm Brian. This is the Steve Kane Show. I'll take a call or two before we transition into things. Good morning. You're on the radio. What's your name?
Hi, I'm Jim from Hollywood, Florida.
Hey, Jim.
Hi, and I called in about getting an RNC valve, but I am a big Richard Pearl fan. But I got to admit that after he switched to 12 o'clock, I wasn't so convenient to listen anymore right after your show. So I kind of lost touch with.
Yeah.
It was such a hard hitting. I just loved his. You never knew what he was going to say, and so I'm really sad. I just found out now about his passing, and I do live in the area, so I also frequented a place he advertised, because he used to say, frequent people that advertise on our show. Mm-hmm. But I meant to go into the shop one day. I'm just not into those shops so much, but I was going to at one point. But I want to talk about, I got my RNC ballot.
Uh-huh.
And I know like in that song, Tie Yell Ribbon, the whole damn bus will be cheering. Because when I tell you how I filled out my ballot, I mean, I put down Donald Trump only. They want favorable, they go strongly favorable. They have a whole...
Well, when you say you got your RNC ballot, what does that mean? I don't exactly know what you're referencing.
Okay, it came in the mail yesterday, and from the Romney, and it said that this is our 2024 presidential preference ballot, and they have a whole list of names, and they got a long list of names, and they got down. It's alphabetical order, so Donald Trump and Donald Trump Jr. appear of the list.
Oh, so it's a poll. They sent you a poll in the mail.
It's a poll, and they want you to. I like the way they do it in the sense that they go from strongly favorable, highly favorable to strongly unfavorable. So you could put somebody on there you could check their name, but you could put you strongly unfavorable, like them or something. So I like that. And but you know, I got angry thinking about how in 2016 Donald Trump had the House. Because they came in on his coattails, a lot of these Republicans. And then what did Paul Ryan do? They were behind his back saying, we're not going to build the wall. Mitt Romney, it's like, we're not going to build the wall. And it's like...
Well, you know, I got to tell you, you know, here's the thing. There's a battle going on. Trump's draining the swamp, but the swamp he's draining is the Republican establishment rhinos. You know, and you know, here's the thing. If you've ever worked somewhere, you work somewhere for a long time, and then a new boss comes in. Yeah, a new boss comes in, and the workers feel like the new boss. Who do they think they are? This is our home. We've been working here a long time. You know, that kind of attitude. And that's how the Republican establishment have been with President Trump. And President Trump, I will only vote for people that I verbally hear Donald Trump endorse. Okay, like I give this example. We were talking yesterday in Texas. Alan West, okay? Steve and I used to be friends with Alan West. We had a bit of a falling out. Well, we were, you know, there was Steve and Alan West had off the air had agreed to make an appearance with Steve, and I would be there too at one of our sponsors. And then he backed out and claimed he never agreed to do it, and that was, you know, what I think what happened is some mutual acquaintances that were undermining us. But anyway, we had kind of a falling out over that. But he's out there running for governor when Greg Abbott has been endorsed by President Trump. And I know a lot of Republicans, they say Greg Abbott's a rhino. I don't know. I know Donald Trump has endorsed him. That's all I need to know. You know, and any Republican who runs against a Trump-endorsed candidate, they might as well, it's a Mitt Romney type to me. So, you know, what we really are, I'm like a Trumplican. But President Trump...
I only have one name. I only put one name on my ballot, but I also put Donald Trump Jr., and the reason is because, you know, I love to death Donald Trump's style and stuff, but I really only care about Donald Trump's policies, about my president's policies.
Well, what they, you know, when I was watching the rally Saturday night, which, by the way, Newsmax, I saw Mike Lindell on Newsmax yesterday, and Mike Lindell was at the Alabama rally. 60,000 people turned out. 60,000. That's amazing. And what the Republican establishment, which includes Liz Cheney and all these creeps, Paul Ryan, they don't understand why we love this man. They don't understand it. They're jealous of it. They want the MAGA movement out. And what the Republican establishment are working on right now is losing the midterm elections, and they want to lose in 2024. And the reason they want to do that is there's an old saying: the Republican establishment would rather control the loss than lose control of the victory. And they think, because of President Trump's age, that if he loses in the midterms and then in 2024, the MAGA movement will fade away like the Tea Party did back in 2010. And that's just not the case.
Back to business as usual. But I think there's one more thing, and I think you'll agree with me, that there's depth from the minute he started running for presidency, that they're terribly afraid of a whole lot of people in Washington, mainly Democrats, but a lot of Republicans too, the money trail and the crimes they've committed over the last 40 years of getting money from Russia and China.
Yeah.
Trump just might be the guy to expose them, and that's why they want Trump out of their bed. They just got to get rid of him. That's their...
Yeah, well, yeah, they want to get rid of the MAGA movement because this is, you know, these people are legacy people. Like Liz Cheney and Mitt Romney are like the poster children for this, but both of them inherited their offices. Mitt Romney's dad was a governor, and everybody knows who Liz Cheney's dad is. So, these are people, and even Pelosi is legacy. A lot of these people, the Cuomos, all these people are legacy politicians. It's their home. They're, even they have different last names sometimes, you don't realize it, but their daddies or their grandpas or their father-in-laws were in the Senate or the House or something. All these people are connected. It's a club. And Donald Trump, the politicians don't like the donors. They hate the donors. They want their money because that's how they get rich, but they hate them. And Donald Trump made the transition from donor to president, and they don't like him. They don't like that. They're like Newsom, related to Pelosi.
Ultimate outsider who he's the guy fighting for the people, and
that's right.
It's incredible that he is the one guy, and then that's what I'm mad at. Really, so every day we should have Republicans standing up and making the news in their town, or they're talking about how great it is to have Donald Trump fighting for us, the people. But you won't hear that.
No, because he advocates, Donald Trump, everything he does is for the people. With the politicians, everything they do is for the donors.
And the elites and the globalists. Well,
the donors in some instances might be China, who you never know, so I do believe that Biden sold Afghanistan to China for those lithium deposits over there. I do believe that.
To my buddy, that you said you're the first person who came up with that.
Yeah.
I love insights and stuff like that.
I believe that, and I think he made a deal to take care of his family financially for the rest of their lives over it. I do think so.
That's his stripes. That's his stripes.
That's all he's ever done. Every office he's held, he's only held it to be. He went into politics to be corrupt, to make money off of corruption. Now most of it's legal because Congress makes the laws, and they make the laws to benefit them. Like they can do insider trading and things. Like they'll buy stocks for 10 cents a stock, then they'll pass legislation that benefit the. How do you think we got Obamacare? Because of the insurance companies. Right? We're big donors. They screwed themselves too, the insurance companies. They, in the end.
Trump rallies are my hope that they are not going to steal our country.
Well, the rallies. All right. He's starting to go into a place where we're not going to go. But yeah, that's the way it is. Now, what's going on in Afghanistan is beyond a disaster. It's beyond a disaster. I mean, as bad as the fall of the U.S. Embassy in Saigon was, it was nothing compared to this. This is really worse on so many levels that I don't even think it's measurable. I mean, it's just not even measurable how much worse this is. And we still have thousands of Americans being held hostage behind enemy Taliban lines. And the Taliban gave an ultimatum. Can you imagine? They gave an ultimatum to Biden to be out by the 31st. And I'm watching these bizarre press conferences yesterday with the Defense Department and with Psaki. And we have the wimpiest people I've ever seen that are running this country. The different departments don't know what the other ones are doing. There's total chaos. And Jen Psaki had really an embarrassing moment. Jen Psaki said yesterday to Steve Doocy that the stranded Americans, that it's irresponsible to call the stranded Americans stranded. Now let me play this clip. This is Psaki yesterday, and then we'll talk about it a little bit. This is Jen Psaki with Peter Doocy of Fox News Channel.
Does the president have a sense that most of the criticism is not of leaving Afghanistan, it's the way that he has ordered it to happen by pulling the troops before getting these Americans who are now stranded? Does he have a sense of that?
First of all, I think it's irresponsible to say Americans are stranded. They are not. We are committed to bringing Americans who want...
They are stranded. If you were stuck somewhere and you can't get out, you're stranded. Okay? They're trying to change the meaning of words right out of 1984.
That he has ordered it to happen by pulling the troops before getting these Americans who are now stranded. Does he have a sense of that?
First of all, I think it's irresponsible to say Americans are stranded. They are not. We are committed to bringing Americans who want to come home. We are in touch with them via phone, via text, via email, via any way that we can possibly reach Americans to get them home if they want to return home.
But they have no way to get to the airport. You know, I saw there was one press conference with the Secretary of Defense yesterday, the Defense Department, where they had on the general that's in charge of transportation. What a wimpy guy he is. They have no way to get to the airport. They have no way to get to the airport, Jen Psaki. That means they are stranded. And listen to her nasty tone. Like, how dare you?
Leaving Afghanistan, it's the way that he has ordered it to happen. By pulling the troops before getting these Americans who are now stranded. Does he have a sense of that?
First of all, I think it's irresponsible to say Americans are stranded. They are not. We are committed to bringing Americans who want to come home. We are in touch with them via phone, via text, via email, via any way that we can possibly reach Americans to get them home if they want to return home.
There are no Americans stranded is the White House's official position on what's happening in Afghanistan right now.
I'm just calling you out for saying that we are stranding Americans in Afghanistan when we have been very clear that we are not leaving Americans who want to return home. We are going to bring them home, and I think that's important for the American public to hear and understand.
Okay.
Oh, okay. See, this is, I tell you, George Orwell was a brilliant man, wasn't he? They're changing the meaning of words. When you're stranded, you're no longer stranded. They can get you by phone and email. Yeah, what about when the Taliban shuts down the phones and the email and the cell phone towers? Right? The only reason they're keeping the internet going and the phones going and the cell towers going is because they're all over the Twitter. They stranded them. The White House stranded, and it's not just in Kabul. We have Americans, I think they're hostages. I believe they are being held hostages. As hostages. The Taliban has beaten American citizens, and they're not letting people get... There is not an American in Afghanistan who would not be gone if they had the ability to get out. They are stranded. And Jen Psaki can mince words all they want. You know, this White House still thinks that they can ride out this news cycle. They think this is a news cycle. This is not a news cycle. The Taliban and soon Al-Qaeda and ISIS are going to be in every news cycle. The Taliban, on an almost daily basis for years to come, will do something to get in the news. They're already doing things, which I'm going to get into some as this show goes on. They think they can ride this news cycle out. But you know what? They can't. And they are stranded. There was a phone call. Did I pull up this phone call? Yeah. I pulled this off of Fox News, played a phone call from an American woman who was stranded in Kabul. Now again, it's irresponsible to say that she's stranded. They want to change the words. I don't know what word they're going to use to describe the stranded. They strand the people. Basically what she said is, it's irresponsible to call the stranded Americans stranded. But here's one of them. This is an American woman in Kabul. And I pulled this off a Fox News channel yesterday.
Hour by hour, it's getting more difficult. Even when the cars pass by, I feel like they're gonna stop by the door and they're the Taliban and they're gonna come and kill us. I'm really scared. Please help me whenever it's the soonest.
Yeah, that's an American woman terrified that the Taliban are coming to kill her. She's stranded, Jen Psaki, who was very snarky yesterday about this. She was very annoyed. She had to interrupt her vacation and everything. It's really I think disturbed is the way. It's disturbing is the way to describe it. On how this administration could give a damn about American citizens. And you know, a lot of these Americans, this is not a partisan thing. A lot of these American citizens are probably Democrats working for our government. Doesn't matter. They just don't care. In fact, Jen Psaki, Biden, the Defense Department, the government under Biden are pissed off at these people. They're pissed off at these people because they're calling people like that. And you think they're just calling Fox? They're calling anybody they can get on the phone. And they're annoyed, and they're pissed off at them because they're not sheltering in place and waiting for the Taliban. They're calling for help and making them look bad. I have never seen such a sick, twisted, uncaring, sociopathic administration like this before. And, you know, we see what's happening. We've got thousands of Americans that are being held hostage behind enemy Taliban lines, and they're trying to tell us that they're not. And I'm so tired of these endless press conferences bragging that they've held control of the airport. Well, what good is it to control the airport if no one can get to it to fly out? Let's take our break for the bottom of the hour. I'm Brian. This is the Steve Kane Radio Show, Florida's longest running radio show on the radio since 1977. Our number is toll-free from anywhere, 1-888-GO-KANE-1, 888-465-2631. We'll be right back.
Attention seniors and those...
Julian!
This is Brian Craig.
$5 super chat. Thank you so much. Everyone thank Julian P. for the super chat. Listen to her. Those who want to get out, when it's over, they will claim those who wanted to leave are out. Those left didn't want to leave. You're probably right, Julian. Steve Kane Show. Hey, Ellen. You're probably right.
Doctor's appointments, things like this. How do you help them with that?
If you're having a problem at the doctor's office, having problems scheduling an appointment in a timely manner, we can step in. If you're having issues at the pharmacy, having problems refilling a prescription, or feel that you're being mischarged for something, you can contact us and we will step in. Even if you're at the hospital and you feel like you're being neglected, we'll be there for you at a touch of a button.
It's pretty scary. If you're new here, make sure you subscribe. And everyone in there, could you make sure you've got the notification bell clicked? And like the video if you don't mind.
Call you and you'll contact the hospital for them?
Absolutely. We act as your family. We'll step up, we'll call the nurses station and ask for some assistance. If we can't get anything done there, we'll go to the higher levels.
Now, this is a service that you're offering.
I was telling everyone earlier, the reason I was having problems with the stream yesterday, I found out after the show, is I had my VPN turned on. I was somewhere over the weekend using public Wi-Fi, so I turned on my VPN. Which I can't use a VPN when I'm live streaming on YouTube. It interferes with the YouTube stream. So that was the problem yesterday. I was so upset.
You'll set up doctor's appointments for them, including the primary care physician and specialist, right?
Of course, we'll assist in anything. Helping you find new doctors.
They'll help you with your medical billing. They'll help you with your insurance billing. If you feel you've been billed wrong by your doctor, they'll step in
Red Dawn,
for that.
yeah.
Even help you if you're in the hospital. Basically, what you're offering is a concierge service to senior citizens.
That's exactly it.
That's amazing. I've never heard of anything like this before. So how much does this cost?
Well, for just $20 a month, you will have the security of knowing that you have an experienced, compassionate advocate just a touch of a button away.
To learn more, call Debbie's office. The number, 954-345-1214. 954-345-1214. Or go online. You can sign up online at iwilladvocates.com. That's iwilladvocates.com.
The Steve Kane Show is brought to you by Attorney Barry Siegel at the Siegel Law Group. Are you concerned with the distribution of your assets at the time of your passing? Avoid probate. Call the Siegel Law Group with 9 offices throughout South Florida, from Palm Beach Gardens to Coral Gables. Call toll-free 1-855-FLA-3788.
Listen to the Steve Kane Show on iHeartRadio. Just search for WW.
All right, welcome back, everyone. I'm Brian. You're listening to the Steve Kane Show, Florida's longest-running radio show. So Jen Psaki says it's irresponsible to call the stranded people, the stranded Americans, stranded. You know, Julian in our YouTube live chat room during the break, Julian had said, when it's over and there are Americans left behind, what the White House is going to say is, and I think Julian is right about this, that those who wanted to leave left, and those who were left behind didn't want to leave. And I think you're right about that. And, you know, Biden's corrupt. We understand Biden, who we found out. I said something yesterday, and now it's being reported that I was right, that Biden actually would not authorize rescue operations of American citizens because he was afraid of a Black Hawk Down incident. But when you get to the Psaki level, we're dealing with the Obama-Clinton generation of Democrats that have been educated in this radical leftist woke college system. And there was an incident similar to what's going on in Afghanistan right now with the British Army in the Second World War at Dunkirk. You know, it's called the Miracle of Dunkirk. And if you want to learn about Dunkirk, the movie was very good, but there's an incredible book about Dunkirk written by Walter Lord, who is one of the best historical writers I've ever read. He wrote the definitive book on the Titanic, A Night to Remember. Remember, that was a movie. It was from Walter Lord. He wrote a great book on Dunkirk, which is amazing reading. I have that book at home. And for those that don't know, the British Army was stuck in Dunkirk. The Germans had pushed them to the sea, and the British had no ships. They had no ships to get the army out, and the Germans were coming in to kill them. They were attacking them. Many of them were dying, and individual English men, because you know this was before the sexual revolution, took their own private boats. Some of them made for just 2 people. And they took them to Dunkirk and they rescued the entire British Army, right? The Miracle of Dunkirk. It's an amazing story. And one that someone like Jen Psaki probably is not even familiar with. There has never been a situation where American civilians were left on their own like this. This has never happened before, to my knowledge. And I understand I'm a partisan person. I don't like Jen Psaki. I don't like Biden. I don't like Democrats. But this is not a partisan incident. You know, after 9/11, this moment we are in is like a September 11th type thing. You know, we've been talking in the last few weeks with as checked out as Biden is. What would, if you're on hold, stand by. I'll go to the phones in a moment. What would happen if we had a 9/11-like event? Well, we are having one right now in Afghanistan with thousands of Americans who were trapped. And I remember when 9/11 happened and things settled down and we could talk about it and not be as emotional. You know, we talked about, could you imagine if Al Gore would have won in 2000 and was president on 9/11, what a disaster that would have been, because of the decisive action of George Bush, who's a creep, but he took good action on September 11th and the weeks after to protect us. What would have happened if Al Gore was president? Well, we got kind of an inkling right now with Joe Biden on what would have happened on 9/11 if Al Gore would have won in 2000 or any other Democrat was president. Joe Biden, because he was afraid of some bad photographs and video being on CNN like Black Hawk Down, has left thousands of Americans behind to be taken hostage. They are hostages of the worst people on the planet. The Taliban, Al-Qaeda, ISIS. I mean, it's worse for them than if they were in Iran. Serious. And this tragedy in Afghanistan with our American citizens, it doesn't matter if they're Democrat or Republican. There's certain I remember after 9/11, Billy Crystal had the Concert for America because he had the comic relief thing going. Remember he had that? And I remember Billy Crystal came out and he says, there's no red, there's no blue, we're all Americans. We're all Americans when it comes to what's going on in Afghanistan right now. But Jen Psaki, the woke generals, and this corrupt old coot president we have, and this incompetent vice president, they don't give a damn. They're trying to get through to a new news cycle so people will forget about this. And I'm in shock about what's going on with our fellow Americans in Afghanistan. I'm really in shock about it. I may not sound that emotional right now because I am so. Sometimes things happen, and it's hard to accept that they're really happening. All right. Our number, toll-free, 1-888-GO-CANE-1. 888-465-2631. Andrea, good morning.
Good morning, Brian.
How you doing?
Well, I wish I could say that I'm good, but I'm not good. And I don't think many Americans are good. And this is what I think. I think the fact that it's all word salad from this administration, from this regime, because it's not even an administration. This isn't a regime. And this is how you know. Because their teaming up, what they're teaming up is they're teaming up to get more Afghani citizens out than Americans. They're going to leave Americans behind, and it's done intentionally. This is 100% intentional. And what the American people need to be prepared for is for the spin that's going to happen, because they keep repeating this.
Well, yeah, this isn't the first time a Democrat has left people behind, a president. But the problem is the first time a Democrat or any president has left Americans behind. Like JFK left the guys in the Bay of Pigs over there to be slaughtered by Castro. But they weren't Americans; they were Cuban. It was bad. I'm not saying it wasn't. It was obviously bad. But we've never seen a president do this to American citizens before, and certainly not in these numbers.
Well, think about, all right, let's talk about the numbers. How many times have you now heard, we don't know how many Americans are over there? Well, if you don't know how many Americans are over there, how are you texting them and emailing them? If you don't know. That's the lie. That's the lie.
And just because you're not, and how many are not able to email or not able to text because they can't get cell reception, or no internet, or the power, or their phone is dead, or maybe they're afraid that they'll be tracked down by the Taliban if they're using their phones.
That's what the Taliban is doing. They're going door to door. They're going door to.
And they know where they live, because Oliver North reported last week that they got the payroll information and the addresses of everyone at the embassy, because these woke State Department incompetence left all the information behind. They know where everyone lives, and they have their phone numbers and addresses.
Well, think about that for a minute. You mean to tell me that people in the State Department didn't know enough to destroy everything? Of course.
Obviously not. I thought they spent those last days shredding and burning, but apparently they just got out of there with the pride flag that they were flying over the embassy right before this happened.
Well, here's the thing with that, Brian. So then, right there is again confirmation they know exactly how many Americans are there. They know. I don't buy it. And I think that the Biden administration is teeing up the American public to let them know we're not taking Americans out. We're going to get as many Afghanis out, and we're going to not vet them and bring them over here. First of all, why aren't they bringing them to Guam? Guam has openly stated that they would take as many refugees and house them until things are figured out. But no, they're flying them here.
That's right. Yeah, in large numbers, thousands and thousands and thousands. Mm-hmm.
Thousands and thousands, while American citizens are being stranded.
See, I think that the White House has made a decision to leave these Americans behind and sacrifice them. I believe that decision's already been made, because I'm not seeing any. I was listening to this wimpy spokesperson at the Defense Department. What a wimpy guy he is, and they keep talking about how we're speaking with the Taliban, we're asking them to do this. We don't ask the Taliban, okay? We tell the Taliban. And now they are so entrenched and emboldened that it would take a major military invasion to get those Americans out right now. And then if we go in, we are fighting again. This would be a mess, because they have American, not just American equipment that we would be fighting against. They have American uniforms too. And if we got involved in street-to-street combat right now, our guys may not be able to tell who's who.
Perfect, exactly. But so here's who did get it. The British and the French, because they issued special forces go over there and get their people. So you mean to tell me that the American military can't go in there and get Americans when the British and French are doing it successfully? You mean to tell me that we can't open up one of those air bases? And the big excuse was that's going to take a lot of manpower. So you know what? This is teeing up the American people to once again have their government throw their middle finger up at this.
Well, I keep hearing from people telling. I don't have any Democrat friends. Okay, I don't associate with Democrats because if someone's a Democrat, their moral view on the world is the opposite of mine, and I don't hang around with immoral people. Okay, so I'm not friends with Democrats, but I hear from people all the time that their Democrat friends are blaming Trump for this. So all this White House cares about is the narrative, and it's only a matter of time before the Taliban, it's going to probably be after the August 31st deadline, okay? Then the Taliban, they're going to take American hostages openly. And they're going to say, you're not supposed to be here anymore. They're waiting, and it's a week away, but they're waiting for that deadline, and then boom, they're going to start openly having American hostages. And then what?
And then they're going to keep them in the prison that they just emptied.
That's exactly right. That's exactly right.
Let's talk about your Democratic leaders for a second. Let's talk about that. Nancy, this is how concerned they are. Nancy Pelosi hosting a party in NASA. Chuck Schumer dancing up the streets in New York with Stephen Colbert.
Yeah.
Americans need to realize that this country is being run by people who hate the country and hate the people. They're going to make Americans second-class, tax-paying slaves.
Yeah. Yeah, that's exactly right. That's exactly right. That Napa Valley party that Pelosi had, even though Tucker did a big thing on it last night, she doesn't care. She's locked in for life. As long as she wants it, she's got it in her mind. There's nothing she could do, and how dare they question her? And these are sick. These are people that are so sick, so corrupted. They don't know that they're sick and corrupted. They just think that's the way it is.
No, Brian, they're sociopaths.
Yeah, they're criminally insane. They're criminally insane. And this incident with Psaki and Ducey yesterday, you can hear the annoyance in her. How dare you care about these Americans? How dare you? You can tell.
Right. Exactly. And you know who I blame for this? Because I have Democratic friends who blame Trump. And I'm like, okay, so you mean to tell me Biden came into office and reversed every policy that Donald Trump did, except for this one? This was like the iron.
Exactly. It doesn't even make sense. All right, Andre, I got to run for a break, but thanks so much for the call. All right, it's 49 minutes after the hour. I'm Brian Craig. You're listening to The Steve Kane Show, Florida's longest-running radio show on the radio since 1977. We'll take a quick break and be right back.
Hi, my name is Tom Laporta, the owner of Laporta Contracting, Roofing, and Restoration. We have been in the roofing and construction industry since 1982. We are state of Florida certified roofing and general contractors focusing on residential and commercial roofing, impact windows, and building restoration. The 2021 hurricane season is upon us. If you have noticed any water stains on your ceiling, or if your roof is older than 15 years, you will want to call us to come out and evaluate your roof. Our services run from minor repairs to complete new roof systems. We install every kind of roof, from regular asphalt shingles, clay or concrete tiles, standing metal seam, wood shakes, and slate tile systems. Call us at 954-604-4602 for a free home inspection and estimate. Again, that number is 954-604-4602.
Listen to the Steve Kane Show on iHeartRadio. Just search for
All right, 10 minutes before 7. My name's Brian. This is the Steve Kane Show. Now, the great Mike Lindell, the Thomas Edison of a good night's sleep with his incredible MyPillow and related products. He was at the rally in Alabama with President Trump, and I saw him on Newsmax really calling out Fox News Channel. And of course, Mike Lindell's been a sponsor here on the Steve Kane Show for quite some time, long before the election. He's been with us, and I use almost all of the MyPillow products. That any MyPillow product that I can use, I got. My house is like a MyPillow house. I got the towels, I got the sheets, I got the pillows, I got the dog beds, I've got the slippers, I've got the bathrobes. What are the other ones? I've got so many MyPillow products I've forgotten, but I'll tell you one that is just changed my life. The MyPillow mattress topper. Now, when you use the promo code KANE at checkout, K-A-N-E, at checkout, you 30% off the MyPillow mattress topper, and you get 2 free MyPillows. But you got to use the promo code KANE at checkout. This mattress topper is amazing. My wife and I, we have a relatively new mattress, and my wife was complaining that she was having back problems, and we ordered the MyPillow mattress using the promo code KANE. We have a queen-size bed, and saved that 30%, got the 2 MyPillows. If you go to SteveKaneShow.com, you can see my unboxing video of it. Right there, I made it. My wife filmed it while I opened up the MyPillow mattress topper, and we made the bed. You see me lay down on it. And the next morning, when we got it on a Saturday, I remember I was at the gun show in West Palm Beach, and I came home from the gun show, and it was waiting for me on my porch, the MyPillow mattress topper. I was so excited. We opened it up and made the bed with it immediately. And that's the video that you see. And my wife and I, we slept on it that Saturday night, and Sunday morning, it was just a miraculous day. One, my wife woke up, her back pain was gone. It was gone. And it is not returned. And I think we got it in, was it April? I think it was in April. We've been sleeping on the MyPillow mattress topper. And this was amazing. You know, because of my schedule, even on the weekends, I usually wake up when it's still dark outside, and during the week, I always wake up long before the alarm goes off. The MyPillow mattress topper has changed my life in so many ways. I'm here to tell you, and let me tell you how. The Sunday I woke up, it wasn't dark outside, it was light. I slept in until after the sun came up on Sunday morning. I haven't done that in years. And ever since, starting on that Monday morning, I wake up in the morning when my alarm goes off. Not 20 minutes, an hour early, half an hour early. When my alarm goes off, I wake up with that MyPillow mattress topper. That's how good it is. And my wife's back pain still has not returned. It's absolutely amazing. So these prices are very low right now. He has his lowest prices ever on so many of his products, including the MyPillow mattress topper. Take advantage of these while they are there. This is a time to do your holiday Christmas shopping. So go to MyPillow.com, use the promo code KANE, K-A-N-E, and save 30% off the MyPillow mattress topper. And you get the 2 free MyPillows as well. Also, you can order by phone, 800-716-4879, 800-716-4879. And the MyPillow mattress topper comes in every size, from twin all the way up to California King, Split King, King, Queen, Full, Twin XL, even the RV Queen. But you got to use that promo code KANE for that deal, K-A-N-E. All right, so let's get back to it. You know, this UK colonel, if you've noticed, there's been a lot of criticism of Biden out of the United Kingdom. The Parliament passed a resolution yesterday, and then over the weekend, this UK Army colonel gave an interview.
The whole world just became vastly more dangerous. The US government, President Biden humiliated the United States. He humiliated the United States Army. In my opinion, and I don't say this lightly, and I've never said it about anybody else, any other leader in this position, people have been talking about impeaching President Biden. I don't believe President Biden should be impeached. He's the commander-in-chief of the US Armed Forces, who's just essentially surrendered to the Taliban. He shouldn't be impeached. He should be court-martialed for betraying the United States of America and the United States Armed Forces.
Yeah, surrendered to the Taliban. I hadn't thought about it in quite such a way until I heard the UK colonel there. And I'll tell you, you guys remember Phil Hendry? Very talented radio guy that did all the voices Phil Hendry? I remember a few months after 9/11, he had one of his character voices on, who was one of his expert guests. It was a comedy show, for those that don't remember or are not familiar with Phil Hendry. It was a comedy show. And he would do voices of people that he would have as callers or guests on his program. And it was live. It was very clever how he did it. But he did a character with this one guy. It was just a couple months after 9/11, who was a military expert who believed that the United States should surrender to the Taliban. And just surrender. This was, I think, even before the ground war began. And it was I know it's hard to imagine, I'm not doing it justice, but it was so absurd and funny at the same time. We should surrender to the Taliban. What a joke that was. Whole night of the Phil Hendry Show was a pretty good one. But that's exactly what Joe Biden has done, surrendered to the Taliban. And, you know, what Joe Biden has done is beyond a political disagreement. It's a total incompetent decision that he's made, leaving these American civilians behind. And I was telling Andrea, the end of the month, the 31st is the deadline. So we got, 7 days? We got a week. The Taliban told Biden over the weekend to be out by the deadline or else. And while these people are being held hostage now behind enemy lines, they're not in custody officially. But come September 1st, they're going to start rounding up American citizens and probably put them in the prison where they let all the terrorists out of a couple weeks back. And it looks like that's what they're doing. And the Taliban leaders, their PR guy, you watch what they do. They are, it pains me to say this, very smart. And it's amazing to me how they understand not just media, but propaganda. I was talking to Steve yesterday about that Iwo Jima photograph that they made. Who would have thought of that? They have a brilliant PR propagandist marketer who not just understands propaganda, he understands social media trending propaganda too. And these thousands of Americans, I remember before the Gulf War in 1991, there were a lot of, if memory serves, they were British families that were stuck in Libya. Remember that during the build-up to the Gulf War in 91? I'm sorry, in Iraq. I said Libya. But in Iraq, remember this? And Saddam, this was before the 91 war in Kuwait. Saddam would have the children all around him like he was a Santa Claus with these propaganda videos and everything. Remember that? Could you imagine what it was like for those parents when Saddam was using their children as propaganda tools? He was basically really using them as human shields. The Taliban have thousands of Americans. What could be done if a week from now, when September 1st comes around, they decide to use these thousands of Americans that they have scattered all over Afghanistan, start using them as human shields? What should we do? What would we do? What could we do? This Taliban today is not the Taliban of September 11th. They are a much smarter group of people. A lot of them spent a lot of time in Guantanamo Bay, obviously getting very well educated in marketing. Probably were watching Mad Men and then started reading and took Udemy courses or something. I don't know, but these are the Taliban we were dealing with in 01 were a bunch of backward people that weren't that smart. This Taliban we're dealing with today has incredibly sophisticated leadership. And they're emboldened. And they are evil. What George Bush called evil doers. And we're in a catch-22 situation right now. If Biden decided he was going to rescue the Americans, at this point, the Taliban are so entrenched Could we launch a successful rescue operation inside Afghanistan? It would be a rescue operation with a lot of blood, because they have not surrounded the airport for no reason. They've created a fortress around the airport. And I'm so tired of hearing these woke generals brag about how they've secured the airport that no one can get to. Now we're going to take our break for the top of the hour. 1 hour down, 2 hours to go. My name is Brian Craig. You are listening to the Steve Kane Radio Show, Florida's longest running radio show on the radio since 1977. Our number is toll-free from anywhere, 1-888-GO-KANE 1, 888-465-2631, 888-465-2631. We'll take our break for the top of the hour and be right back.
We've got you covered. AM 1470, FM 95.3, 96.9. South Florida's FM Money Talk Radio Network. WWNN, Pompano Beach.
Hi, Brian Craig here. You've heard Dr. Mitch Matez and Steve Kane's wife Lori talk about their COVID testing at Any Lab Test Now of Boca and Any Lab Test Now of Coral Springs. I've been tested too. So has Steve Kane and his son Tyler. Today on the radio, Rabbi David called in. He felt that he was getting sick and wanted to get tested for coronavirus. So he went to Any Lab Test Now of Boca. Go to Rabbi David. Hey, Rabbi.
By the way, you might hear congestion in my voice. I actually had a lot of congestion. I felt a little sick. And of course, I get nervous that, is it COVID or not? My wife also. So guess what we did? I listened to you. I went down to Any Lab Test Now yesterday, and I couldn't believe it. Went right in there. They put a little tiny thing, you didn't even feel it in my finger. Literally 10 minutes later, not a second more, they came back and said, you're fine, negative, great. We went on our way, and we just, not even worried. So
that $69 price is just for Steve Kane Show listeners. You got to mention that, and it's that little finger test. You get it real quick. I'll tell you, anytime somebody has any type of congestion, all of a sudden there's anxiety sets in, not just for them, but everybody around them. It's best just to go in and get the test. Say, I don't have the COVID. You know what I mean? Instead of dealing with all the wonder.
And they give you a piece of paper. So yesterday, I actually walked around with it. When people heard, you don't sound so good, I take out that piece of paper. I said, I was tested right here, and I pick up the piece of paper and showed it to them that says negative. And
Any Lab Test Now of Boca and Coral Springs, they're good people, and we're very lucky to have them.
They're very caring and full of information.
First, we had a doctor recommendation from Dr. Mitch Matez. Now we have a rabbi. Rabbi recommended Any Lab Test Now of Boca, Any Lab Test Now of Coral Springs for your COVID testing. Yeah, that's great. Rabbi recommended. Any Lab Test Now of Boca and Any Lab Test Now of Coral Springs. Rabbi recommended by Rabbi David for COVID testing. Rapid coronavirus testing, just $69. But you have to mention you heard them on the radio. Any Lab Test Now of Coral Springs is located on the southeast corner of
Steve Kane Show.
and Ramblewood near the Coral Square Mall. Their number, 954-906-5983. Any Lab Test Now of Boca is in the Sandalfoot Plaza, where the Western Beef is. Their number, 561-237-5009. Make sure you mention you heard them on the radio.
Hi, this is Lori Kane, and I want to talk to you about Dr. Gupta at Brighton Dental Care. I just love Dr. Gupta. I've been seeing him for around 3 years. He always has time for me. He never does unnecessary work, and his prices are very affordable. And if you need implants, go see him because he has the best prices around. Let me give you the number. Write it down. It's 954-922-4633. That's 954-922-4633, BrightonDentalCare.com. He's just the best.
The Steve Kane Show is brought to you by Attorney Barry Siegel at the Siegel Law Group. Are you concerned with the distribution of your assets at the time of your passing? Avoid probate. Call the Siegel Law Group with 9 offices throughout South Florida, from Palm Beach Gardens to Coral Gables. Call toll-free 1-855-FLA-3782.
You are listening to South Florida's radio show, The Steve Kane Show. To call the show toll free, dial 1-888-GO-KANE 1. That's 1-888-GO-KANE 1. And now.
All right, hour number 2 has begun. I'm Brian Craig. This is the Steve Kane Radio Show, Florida's longest running radio show. on the radio since 1977. I went into a lengthy discussion about this at the beginning of the show at 6 a.m., but I am going to mention for those that are just tuning in that, and I did not know this until after yesterday's program was over, but Richard Pearl died on Saturday, and it's a little shocked here, still going on. But I just, I talked about it in great deal at the top of the show at 6, so you can go on my YouTube channel and listen to that, and of course it'll be on the overnight rebroadcast, and Steve will be joining us a little later today, and we may talk about that a little bit more, but yeah, Richard Pearl passed away on Saturday. All right. We're talking about the Taliban, and I was talking earlier before, if you're on hold, stand by, I'll go to the phones in a moment or two, but the deadline is August 31st. So come September 1st, I'm expecting the Taliban to openly take American hostages, because we're probably still going to be there with Americans stranded. And they said it's a no-no. And there's nothing you can bribe them with, because we've just given them an entire army's worth of materials that will last them for years. Listen to this. The Taliban reportedly set an Afghan woman on fire for what reports are saying were her poor cooking skills. The lady was a former judge and women's rights activist. She said members of the Taliban set a local woman on fire after they deemed her cooking unacceptable. They're forcing people to give them food and cook them food. And food is in short supply, so they're taking food from the civilians, making them cook their remaining food. A woman was put on fire because she was accused of bad cooking for Taliban fighters. And I saw a story today that was really tragic. The Taliban arrested and carted off an Afghan comedian who is, I don't know if he's dead yet, and this guy, he was telling jokes, they said, as he was being carted off by the Taliban. Good job, Biden. And I mean, it's just, it's a nightmare over there. All right, back to the phones. Good morning. You're on the radio. Oh, hey, Richie.
We're dealing with people that are worse than Nazis. I mean, the Nazis were civilized. These are not civilized human beings. and you brought up the fact that what would we do if they took human shields, if we went into...
Well, we're going to find out in about a week.
Yeah, we don't have much of a choice. We can watch the slow death of American citizens, or we could go in there and try, and it'll be a total disaster and mess. But it's still better than running away. It's a total disgrace of our honor if we pack up and leave. And by the way, he's got to make a decision quick, because it's not the 31st. He's got all these soldiers that he's got to get out of there. So it's got to start earlier than that. He's got to make the decision probably today, because he has to pull all those soldiers out. And if he decides to stay and they bomb the airport, okay, and stop our planes from taking off, we'll have all those stranded soldiers in that fortified airport stuck. So he's got a total mess. The only way to get out of this, I'm going to tell you right up front, is escalation on our part. Send about 200,000 troops in there and sandwich them in. And
well, that's not going to happen if you listen to these people. And to muster 200,000 takes some, especially with these clowns that are running the army today, takes a lot of coordination. Look how long it took to get the soldiers into the Gulf in '91. By the time they mustered a fighting force together, these thousands of Americans will be scattered as hostages throughout the entire country.
2 days ago, I got a man across the street. His granddaughter is in the service. She got orders. She's being deployed, and she didn't know where she was going. They're already calling soldiers up. So there is something going on, and like I said, I think the only thing this is going to really blow up, and the leadership we have here is. And by the way, Jen Psaki, if you're in San Francisco and I'm in New York, and somehow you get robbed and you don't have any money and you're trying to get back to New York, you're stranded.
Yeah, you're stranded. Exactly.
You're You are stranded until I send you money to get a...
If you get a flat on the side of I-95, you're stranded. If you can't change the tire. Yeah.
Now I want to say one thing about Richard Pearl. I listened to him a few times. May he rest in peace. Now my cousins, you know them, the airline pilot and his wife. They're about your age. They came down with COVID, okay? And they got it from their sons, okay? And my cousin Paul sounded so bad. They didn't take the shots. And he had this cocktail that he got. And he's still hacking, and it's 2 weeks. He said to me, Richie, I never got hit so hard in my life. And here's a young man.
All right, is it that that treatment they got? That antibody treatment? What's it called? I forgot the name of it.
You know, he got the cocktail. His wife got the cocktails. They were ready right up front. But he's one of these, I'm not going to take the shot. He got sick as a dog, but he's getting better now, but he's still got it in him. Over 2 weeks, you can hear it on the phone.
Well, you know, Steve and I have known 2 people who have died in the last 2 weeks. Of course, Dick Farrell, who we didn't know that well. Steve knew better than I did. I think Steve said he rented his house to him, his condo to him. Dick Farrell and I were acquaintances, and now Richard, is gone. That's two people in 2 weeks, and I know at least a dozen who have had COVID in the last 3.
I would think that this is probably COVID that he had. I can't tell you that, but I mean, from what you described, it's like it was unbelievable. And he's a strong man. I mean, he's a big guy, strong, healthy, and that could take you down quick. If you're an older person, I mean, you could be anti-vaccine. I know a lot of people that are, but you better start to think about this, because this is no joke.
Well, Dr. Lemaski, she may be calling us. I was talking to Dr. Lemaski yesterday. Steve and I were. Steve actually pulled something yesterday, which I hope he doesn't pull again with me with Dr. Lemaski. We may talk about that on the air. We may not. I don't know if Steve will want to. But Dr. Lemaski had COVID, and she may call in today and talk about it. She had a bad, and it was, from what she told me, it's the worst thing she's ever had, too.
Hey, he said there's no flu that he's ever had in his lifetime like this.
Well, I'll tell you, last year I only knew 2 people that had COVID. Both in my extended family. One person works in the airlines and flies every day, and they got it from flying. And another person is a nurse, and they got it from a patient, and they both got COVID. And they were sick, but they were not as sick as the people I know that have gotten it in the last 3 weeks. Yeah, the people I know that have I know 2 that have died. Okay, and the people I know that have had it, it is much, much, much worse than my family members who had it last year.
Richard Pearl was a natural type of person.
Of course.
I don't know whether he took the shots or he was against the shots.
I don't know.
Thing.
Well, no, he was. Richard was very openly and vocal being opposed to the vaccine. Now, so far as what treatment he received, I talked to Richard Pearl last Monday, very briefly, and he was in the hospital. He was in the hospital with the doctor, because he was talking to a doctor when I called him when I got off the air. But I talked to him once before, the Friday before that, and he sounded as sick as a man could sound, but he also sounded like I woke him up. So I told Steve it's kind of a mix. And then when I talked to him on Monday, he sounded sick, but he didn't sound that sick. And what I've been told from people is my wife's doctor had said that a lot of times you get it, it's really bad, and then you have like this period where you're feeling better, and then boom, it comes back pretty hard.
Yeah, really hard. So. All right, so I'm going to let you go, and thanks for listening.
Yeah, I know. It's tough when you lose someone. It can be tough. It can be tough. I know. It certainly is. I know. It is upsetting. It's upsetting. It is upsetting. Oh boy, I tell you. All right. Well, let me just take the break, and then we'll transition back into the issues. Our number 1-888-GO, Kane, 1-888-465-2631. I want to tell you guys about the My Pillow My Slippers. Do you all have the My Pillow My Slippers? The My Pillow My Slippers come in many different styles for both men and women. And with the promo code Kane, save up to 40% off. And, or not up to, save 40% off. You will save 40% off when you use the promo code Kane at checkout. Now, the ones I have are the tan moccasins, and I put them on as soon as I get home every day. Now, a lot of times I wear them out and about because the My Pillow slippers are good for all-day wear. You can wear them like a shoe all day. I do wear them out and about quite a bit. But as soon as I get home, I'm wearing my Vans now, but as soon as I get home, the Vans come off and the My Pillow My Slippers come on, and they are so comfortable. Oh, man, they're so comfortable. In fact, when I wake up in the morning, I get out of the shower, and I'm working around the house doing my show prep for an hour or two before I come to the radio station. I'm in my Pillow My Slippers. I have a standing desk at home where I do all my work, and I have my Pillow My Slippers on, and they are so comfortable. I love them. They're the most comfortable slippers I've ever owned, and you can wear them all day long. Again, they come in many different styles, many different colors, and in styles for both men and women. So go to MyPillow.com, use the promo code Kane at checkout, K-A-N-E, and save 40% off the My Pillow My Slippers. You can also order by phone, 800-716-4879. 800-716-4879. We'll be right back.
Hey guys, Brian Craig here. I have the My Pillow slippers, and Mike Lindell, he's right. These are the most comfortable slippers I've ever worn. And you can get them for 40% off at MyPillow.com with the promo code Kane, K-A-N-E. One of our listeners called in on the air and told us about his experience with the My Pillow My Slippers.
Brian, I have the My Pillow slippers, and I have neuropathy. These are fantastic slippers.
Really? Which ones do you have? Which style do you have?
The fur-lined one.
Oh, the slip-on fur-lined ones?
Yeah, inside, outside.
What is neuropathy, and what are the symptoms?
Well, the nerves in your feet start going bad, and it affects your balance, and it's painful.
So you're wearing the My Pillow My Slippers, which, by the way, 40% off with the promo code Kane, K-A-N-E, and it's helped with your neuropathy.
Yes, it is. It's much. I have to wear slippers at home. I can't go barefoot or even with socks on.
Wow.
So I have to wear that. And I also have the My Pillow and the My Pillow mattress topper and the.
That mattress topper is unbelievable, isn't it?
Absolutely.
Oh,
My wife loves it.
Oh, man. I know, they're all great. Yeah, I know. And by the way, when you use the promo code Kane at checkout, 40% off the My Pillow slippers, 30% off the My Pillow.
If you're new here, make sure you subscribe, all right? And everyone click the notification bell. Make sure you get that notification bell clicked and like the video. Liking the video helps so much. It tells that YouTube algorithm to recommend this video to others, which helps me a lot.
Lowest prices, including the antibody test. Results in 15 minutes. Any lab test now of Boca is located in the Sandalfoot Plaza, where Western Beef is, south of Palmetto Park Road and north of Hillsboro on the east side of 441 State Road 7. Call 561-227-5009. Any lab test now of Coral Springs is located on the southeast corner of University Drive in Ramblewood, near the Coral Square Mall in Coral Springs. Call 954-906-5983. Make sure to tell them you heard about them on The Steve Kane Show. Listen to The Steve Kane Show on iHeartRadio. Just search for W.
All right, welcome back, everyone. I'm Brian Craig. You're listening to the Steve Kane Radio Show, Florida's longest-running radio show on the radio since 1977. And I saw this story online yesterday, and I couldn't believe. Here's the headline. More than 75 doctors walk out of South Florida hospital rather than treat the unvaccinated. And I immediately opened up the story to find out what hospital it was, because I want to make sure don't go there. And there's a particular hospital that my wife uses for her condition, and I wanted to make sure it wasn't that one. And I'm going to play the audio. MSNBC did an entire story praising these 75 doctors, and Joe Scarborough was just so amazed. I mean, he's ready to give them an award. I'm going to play you the audio of this, but I'll tell you, these doctors They've walked out protesting the unvaccinated. These doctors, in my opinion, should be fired by the hospital, and they should have their medical licenses revoked. There should be an investigation here. I've never heard of such a thing where doctors become political. I thought when it came to such things, doctors did not get involved. And, well, let me play you the audio. This is MSNBC. You'll hear Joe Scarborough, and they have their roving reporter interviewing these woke doctors, and we'll talk about it as we go.
Just moments ago, more than 75 doctors staged a walk
Steve
out
Kane
to
Show.
protest the number of COVID patients coming to the hospitals who have not been vaccinated. The thing, let's bring in Kerry Sanders, because Kerry, you're in Palm Beach Gardens, Florida, at this doctor's walkout. Kerry, and I know the area very well, what Americans don't understand is for every unvaccinated person that's filling up an ICU bed, that means with the hospitals jammed, somebody with a heart attack, and I've known somebody in this position, goes there, has trouble getting in.
Okay, let me stop right there. Lie! Okay, so Joe Scarborough just said that heart attack victims are having a hard time getting in the hospitals because the unvaccinated are selfishly taking up beds. How dare these sick people take up sick beds in a hospital? But he says he knows someone this happened to. I'd like to know who that is and have them on to tell the story, Morning Joe. I call BS on that one. And I think everyone knows.
And I know the area very well. What Americans don't understand is for every unvaccinated person that's filling up an ICU bed, that means with the hospitals jammed, somebody with a heart attack, and I've known somebody in this position, goes there, has trouble getting in, can't get treatment, can't get a bed. It is a nightmare for the doctors. It is a nightmare for the nurses. And to the doctor's point of view, it's worse yet for sick people that want help from them.
That is truly reflective of the frustration that you see behind me. And these doctors are gathered, some coming off their shifts to come out here, gathering to try to tell people, please, first of all, ignore the nonsense and the absurdities that you're hearing people say at public meetings and recognize the value of what a vaccine will do. 85% of the ICU beds in Florida are full. Now, there are...
Okay, now let me slow down there. 85% of the ICU beds are full. Sadly, I have experience with the ICU. I've never been in ICU personally, but my wife has been in the ICU on multiple occasions. And ICU units are always 85% full. Hospitals are not designed to be buildings that are empty. Hospitals are a business, very profitable one at that. And like any well-organized and successful business, they know how many beds they need to service the community that they're in. All ICUs are almost always full or near capacity any day of the week, any day, any year. Pick one. Okay?
There are some hospitals that have no space in the ICU. They've turned cafeterias, they've turned conference centers over to beds to house patients.
Okay. Now, Kerry Sanders here, he's been with NBC News for a long time. I know who he is. You guys know him. I've seen him at events. First time I saw him in person was at the recount here in Florida during the 2000 recount. And, I trust his reporting, typically. He's saying that there are hospitals here in South Florida that are turning cafeterias into ICUs because they're so overcrowded. How about going to one of these cafeterias and show us this? I made a video that I put on my TikTok a couple weeks back when they said the hospitals were overcrowded. I went to both hospitals here in Boca Raton, where our radio station is, and I went to the ER, and there was no one there. And I made a video about this that you can see. All right, let's go back. He's going to interview one of the doctors in a moment.
Value of what a vaccine will do. 85% of the ICU beds in Florida are full. Now, there are some hospitals that have no space in the ICU. They've turned cafeterias, they've turned conference centers over to beds to house patients because they are so overwhelmed. Dr. J.T. Snarsky is joining us here. She's one of the doctors.
Okay, now out of all the doctors, he's going to interview this lady doctor. I'm going to call her Dr. Woke. And she's a young doctor. She's blonde, and she's very pretty, okay? Like a spokesperson. And she's not wearing a lab coat. There's doctors behind her in lab coats. She's wearing scrubs. And I'm going to show you guys this on YouTube in a moment. But she's wearing scrubs, and embroidered over her right breast area, written huge embroidered, says doctor. There's no name or anything. I've never seen anything like this. It's like they want to make sure that viewers can tell that Dr. Woke here is a doctor. So they have, there's no, it doesn't say doctor whatever her name is. It just says doctor. Very weird. I mean, let's go back to her.
In the ICU. They've turned cafeterias, they've turned conference centers over to beds to house patients because they are so
Steve Kane
overwhelmed. Dr. J.T. Snarsky is joining us here. She's one of the doctors. First of all, you hear that woman at the school board saying the absurdity. How does that make you feel, and how do you combat it?
It's incredibly frustrating because we know vaccines are safe and effective, and it's people who go out and talk against them that really go against physicians in medicine and science, and it's not the message we want to get across to people. Vaccines are safe, and we need to get our communities vaccinated.
It is significant. As I step out here, I can see they're all standing here, white jackets, some coming off of their shifts.
Okay. They're not listening to doctors. They're attacking patients that aren't listening. You know, in Joe Scarborough's lie about his friend that couldn't get admitted to the hospital who had a heart attack, most people that have heart attacks have them because they're not listening to doctors' advice, right? They don't exercise, they don't eat well, they smoke, they drink, right? And that leads to heart attacks. I remember the last time I heard such discussion was when Mickey Mantle needed a liver transplant. This was a long time ago. Remember this? And some of you may remember this discussion. There were people who said that Mickey Mantle should not get a new liver because he had a life of alcoholism going on, right? He led the life of an alcoholic, and he destroyed his liver, and he was not deserving. They should pass him over and give that liver to someone else. Remember that discussion? This is exactly why you don't want government health care. When Obamacare was being discussed and government health care, we were talking about death panels. And there's no death panels in them. Well, they don't say, okay, this is an impaneled group and they're the death panel. They have death panels like this. And what the doctor who has doctor with no name just embroidered, she may be a doctor, I don't know, but just to say doctor with no credit, it doesn't even say her name, MD, with all the other letters and acronyms, nothing there, just doctor. Very weird. I wonder if that's what she normally wears. But they're not listening to doctors. Most patients don't listen to doctors. Most patients in a hospital do not listen to doctors. That's why most people end up in the hospital. Even sometimes people that are in car accidents, driving too fast. Oh, you're not listening to the government. The government says 55. You were going 60. Oh, the government says stop. You ran that stop sign. What, no treatment for you either? These doctors should be fired. You know, Governor DeSantis, our great, this is in Florida, Palm Beach Gardens, which is a snooty, richy area. So it doesn't surprise me that in a snooty, richy, liberal area that we have snooty doctors. It's one of the few areas where the doctors are worth less than the patients that come in. But Governor DeSantis, I promise you, is well aware of this story. I hope he calls on some investigation into this. Doctors should not be in a political position like this where they have such disdain for sick people. How dare these sick people come? These sick, and Joe Scarborough, how dare these sick people take up sick beds in a hospital? I know, what a ridiculous concept, Joe Scarborough. they're actually talking about not treating people because they haven't taken the advice of the doctors. There's all kinds of reasons why people do and don't do what doctors say. And when you mandate things, it's a very dangerous thing. I was talking to someone this morning before the show about mandates that are coming for vaccines in places. And when you mandate things, it gets very dangerous. Like I have some pretty severe food allergies. I'm very allergic to a crazy thing, bananas. Bananas. If I were to eat a banana, I would have I wouldn't be able to breathe. I get massive stomach cramps, chest pains, my throat closes up, and it's pretty severe. It's really bad. It's one of the worst allergic reactions you've ever seen a person have to a food allergy. And I very well may have to go to a hospital if I eat a couple of bananas. If people mandated that I eat bananas, well, and I had to eat a banana to, come to work or go here or travel there, I'd be in big trouble. Because that banana could kill me. If I started eating bananas all day, every day, I would not be a functioning human. There's all kinds of reasons people don't get vaccinated, and to mandate something across the board, and for doctors to say, you haven't done what we told you to do. No treatment for you? Or they're angry at you? When a relationship that you have with a doctor is very similar to a relationship you have with an attorney. When you go to your doctor, you're dealing with things that are private, personal, and sometimes embarrassing. And as a patient, you need to have confidence with your physician that you can reveal everything to them without judgment. Right? And when you have doctors out there who are angry at people that aren't taking their advice, well, maybe they eat too much fried foods. Are you going to give them a hard time because they eat too much fried foods? Too much McDonald's? Too much KFC? You're going to give them a hard time for that too, doctor? You're going to judge them, refuse to treat them, and take some runner who eats tofu all day and takes all your advice and drinks a gallon of water a day and everything? But because this other person comes in who's dying and they've been eating McDonald's for lunch every day their entire life and they're having chest pains, you're going to treat the person that took your advice first? I've never heard of something like this before. And this young doctor here, Dr. Woke, who's so pathetic, she's got to have doctor in huge letters embroidered across her shirt. This is the new era of college graduates who think they know better. Typical millennial. All right, let's take our break for the bottom of the hour. We have a completely full board of calls. So after the break, I will go right to the phones. It's a toll-free call, 1-888-GO-CANE, 1-888-465-2631. We'll be back after this.
Stop paying an outrageous fortune for your tires. Go easy on your budget.
Oops, sorry guys.
Your tires at
Steve Kane Show.
where they have all the major brands.
Steve Kane Show. Hold on. Steve Kane Show. Oh, hey, Dr. Mattress, I was going to call you today. I texted you the other day. Did you get my text?
That's a $100 savings per tire.
Oh, I'll take you first. Okay, I'll take you first. Are we still good to go with that thing or not? What's going on? Okay. Okay, no problem. Okay, I'll take you first. Okay, okay.
Tell him what you drive, and he will give you a great low price right over the phone at 954-977-9445. 954-977-9445. Online, friendlytire.net.
The Steve Kane Show is brought to you by Attorney Barry Siegel at the Siegel Law Group. Are you concerned with the distribution of your assets at the time of your passing? Avoid probate. Call the Siegel Law Group with 9 offices throughout South Florida, from Palm Beach Gardens to Coral Gables. Call toll-free 1-855-FLA-3782.
Listen to the Steve Kane Show on iHeartRadio. Just search for W.
Alrighty, we're going to get some an educated analysis of Dr. Woke here and these protesting doctors at the Palm Beach Gardens Hospital, because on the line we have we have my doctor, Dr. Mitch Mattress from the Bio Station, who has probably the coolest doctor's office you've ever seen in Delray, across from the Delray Marketplace. A very space. It looks like Elon Musk designed his office over there. Dr. Mattress, good morning.
Hey, good morning. Yes, the office takes off for Mars in 2020.
You got a pretty hip office, man. You got to admit.
Cool. Well, you got to thank my friends at the Bio.
Yeah.
Built it up and made it look real beautiful for everybody.
So what do you think about these doctors that are protesting how dare these sick patients take up sick beds?
Well, that's actually what I thought, right? First of all, real quickly, ICU beds being in demand is not a novel thing. It's something that's been going on 365 days a year for the last 100 years. Doctors who are involved in critical care, and I spent 15 years doing it, okay, spend a lot of time trying to decide how to jockey people around so they can open up ICU beds for sicker people. It's just the way it works, all right?
Yeah.
So there's a lot of disingenuity, if that's a word, going on here. As far as these doctors are concerned, however, the reason they're out there doing it is because they know they can say anything they want and get away with it. I assure you that when they turn around and go back in that building, not one of them is going to refuse to treat anybody, because number one, it's completely illegal. Number two, it's completely immoral. Number three, it's completely unethical. And that would be a reason for them to lose their license. Absolutely 100%. It is an obligation of every single doctor that's licensed in the United States of America to care for any patient, regardless of any reason, including money. Period. Anything. Disease, whether they took care of themselves, it doesn't matter. And they also know that there are doctors in that hospital that if they were to refuse to treat these people, others will, because it's the right thing to do.
But it sends a bad message, though, Doc. Let me tell you, okay? This is in particular with men, and we were talking earlier. Our friend Richard Pearl passed away on Saturday. Men don't like to go to the doctor. They don't like to go to the hospital, and now if a patient is having breathing problems and they're like, I better go to the ER, and they're in the area of this hospital, they may be reluctant to go because they don't want to get this reprimand and judgment from Dr. Woke here.
Right, and they might not go get the treatment at the clinic because everybody's telling them that Ron DeSantis is Dr. Mengele.
Exactly.
It's pretty scary, but these doctors, the point of my call, because you got me with this one, they're totally irresponsible. It is inappropriate, but they know that they can get away with it, and that's why they...
Well, and the doctor they interviewed, I thought it was very strange, the scrub she was wearing that had embroidered in massive letters, doctor. It didn't have a name. It didn't have her credentials. What is that about?
I'm not sure, but I suspect it's the VA.
Palm Beach Gardens?
When I saw her doctor thing there, I noticed that, and I said to myself, that must be the VA, because I can't imagine that the other setting, I believe that individual's name would be there.
It's very strange.
I'm driving right now with my name on my, what would you call that, my chest? Yeah, right? But yes, that is strange. So
No, but yours is Dr. Mitch Mattress, and you have some credentials behind it. You don't have you don't go around with a doctor, just doctor embroidered. You could be a love doctor for all the hell I know if you got doctor just embroidered there. Doctor, Dr. DJ Jazzy Jeff or something.
I would hope when that woman went home last night that one of her trainers called her up and said,
What the
hell is wrong with you? And what the heck are you thinking?
Well, and I'll tell you another thing. I was mentioning this before you called, Dr. Mattress. Like, if I go and talk to you in your office, I have the confidence that I can tell you anything, no matter it may be embarrassing, and I think that people don't want to feel judged by their doctors. If they feel judged, they won't tell. You need to know all the information to treat someone, and if they're embarrassed, like or shamed, like these doctors are doing, they're not going to reveal things.
You're correct. I had to take care of a lot of people that I did not want to take care of over the years. Sorry, it just doesn't work that way. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Is that when people get up, when these politicians get up and say health care is a human right, that's what they're talking about. It has nothing to do with insurance.
Yeah.
Okay?
Yeah.
They're talking about an obligation of people in healthcare, particularly physicians, to treat.
Like, let me give you a scenario, okay? Like, if someone breaks into your house, Dr. Mattress, and you shoot them in self-defense, are you obligated as a physician to treat that gunshot victim in your home that was just coming in to kill you?
I'll tell you right now, if I don't jump down on the floor, start CPR, and do everything I can to sustain that man's life, particularly with my background and experience, I would be sued for everything I have.
Yeah, and boom, he's coming in to kill you. Yeah, that's right.
Family, the state, everybody will sue me. I'm a physician. I had the experience. I know how to save lives. Why am I not down there saving this guy's life? And
yeah.
I'm telling you. That's
crazy.
The
crazy town.
What you want to call it, that this woman publicly announced that she is no longer going to stand for, and her 74 colleagues, and they should all.
Well, and there's a lot of liability with that, because somebody could come in and claim that they didn't get adequate treatment because they were so. I mean, what would happen with this woke doctor? Like, I'm wearing my Trump shirt, and I'm taken in there. I'm having breathing problems. I think I have COVID. Is she going to get judgy on me because I've got a MAGA shirt on? Sounds like she might.
Listen, I have some friends that are pretty smart lawyers, and I'm betting you that they're going to be taking a look at some people up there and their charts and things.
That's right.
Wondering, hey, did these people get treated appropriately by these, physicians on this hospital staff?
Yeah.
You're so spot on with this whole thing.
Well, I like it. Hey, listen, Dr. Mitch Mattress from the Bio Station. All right, get in touch with me, Doc, because we got some business to take care of.
I will be speaking with you today.
Okay, great. Take care. I'll wait for the call. Dr. Mitch Mattress. All right, take care, Doc. He's a great guy. I love Dr. Mattress. I've known him for many, many years. And in just a bit, I'll tell you a little bit more about what he does for me. All right, let's go. You're on the radio. Good morning.
Hello.
Yeah, Louise, turn the volume down of whatever that is in the background.
Louise from Boca?
Yes.
Yeah, hon, I've been running in and out of the house. Did I hear Richard Pearl passed away?
Yes, he did on Saturday.
Oh, of COVID?
I'm not 100% sure on that. I think so, but I'm not 100% sure.
I can't believe it. Oh, I'm so sad.
Yeah, so am I. We all are.
Oh, hon, I'm speechless. I knew something was wrong when he wasn't on the program.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I just have to. Oh my God, I just can't believe it. Okay, hon, that's it. I'm running in and out of my house, and I just heard something. I couldn't believe my ears.
I know. It's hard to believe. I mean, it's hard to. I mean, even though I knew there was a problem, I'm in shock still. I've known Richard since the 90s. I've known him for a long time.
What man was he? Sounded young.
He's not. He's around my age. He's got to be a couple of years older than me, but not too much older than I am.
What was that, 50s?
He's in his 50s, yeah.
All right, hon, I won't take time. I just can't believe this.
I know. All right, take care. Louise. I know, it's tough. All right, we'll take our last break of the second hour. Steve Kane will be joining us after the top of the hour break at 8. If you're on hold, stand by. Our number toll-free, 1-888-GO-KANE-1. That's K-A-N-E, and the number 1-888-465-2631. We'll be right back.
Hi folks, Dr. Mattress here, now with the Biostation West Delray. At Biostation West Delray, we continue to offer the highest level of experience and care you can find in the realm of hormone pellet and hormone replacement therapies. But that's just the start. We offer a full array of age PTH management modalities, including state-of-the-art treatments for erectile dysfunction, sexual dysfunction in women, physical and sexual rejuvenation, and quite frankly, any sign or symptom of aging that you may have. And don't forget, we offer the complete array of all cosmetic modalities, including Botox, fillers, lasers, etc. Better energy, better sleep, better performance, and looks to die for. If this all sounds good to you, call us at 561-320-8893. That's 561-320-8893.
Hi, my name is Tom Laporta, the owner of Laporta Contracting, Roofing, and Restoration. We have been in the...
Richard Pearl, he's one of our sponsors here on the program, his store Simply Natural, and also does a radio, he did a radio show on our station weekdays at noon, Richard Pearl on politics.
The 2021 hurricane season is upon us. If you have noticed any water stains on your ceiling, or
I know, it's tough.
Your roof is older than 15 years,
it's tough.
You will want to call us to come out and evaluate your roof. Our services run from minor repairs to complete new roof systems. We install every kind of roof, from regular asphalt shingles, clay or concrete tiles, standing metal seam, wood shakes, and slate tile systems. Call us at 954-604-4602 for a free home inspection and estimate. Again, that number is 954-604-4602.
Listen to the Steve Kane Show on iHeartRadio. Just search for WW.
Yes. All right, welcome back. Just one opening on the board at 1-888-GO-KANE-1. I want to tell you, though, for a moment, before we go back to the phones, which I will shortly, about Dr. Matez and the biostation. Dr. Matez has been my doctor, I guess now for 5 years. I think when I turned 45, I went to Dr. Matez for hormone replacement pellet therapy, just turned 50. And a lot of you guys and gals, ladies, may wonder, how do I get up in the middle of the night? I'm here. I do 2 shows a day. You know, Dr. Mitch Matez at the biostation, they do a lot over there, a lot of everything you could imagine in the area of anti-aging medicine. But Dr. Matez brought to South Florida many, many years ago, he was the originator here in South Florida, of hormone replacement pellet therapy. They're tiny little pellets, about the size of a grain of rice before you cook them, very tiny. Insert them in your hip area, and what they do is restore your hormone levels to where they were when you were in your 20s. And it's absolutely amazing. You get energy. If you're suffering from sexual dysfunction, your sex drive returns, your ability to have sex returns. It's a life-changing thing. I've met many listeners over the years who are patients of Dr. Matez, and I've met them before and after they started hormone replacement pellet therapy. And some of these guys, they come in, they're like, they're scooting their feet like Biden. And then I'll meet them after they start hormone replacement pellet therapy with Dr. Mitch Matez at the biostation. They'll come to an event, hey, Brian, and they'll shake my hand and almost break my hand. It's absolutely amazing. Hormone replacement pellet therapy. It will change your life. And by the way, for ladies, for women out there, hormone replacement pellet therapy is for you too. Hormone replacement pellet therapy completely stops the signs and symptoms of menopause and also reverses them. The night sweats, ladies, for menopause, gone. That's right. The night sweat's gone. The mood swings, gone. Women suffer from sexual dysfunction due to menopause with vaginal dryness. That's completely reversed too. There's other phrases for that I can't use on the radio, but that's completely reversed too. Your sex drive, ladies, is returned as well. And in both men and women, hair loss, if you're suffering from hair loss stops dead in its tracks, and the hair you have left grows back thicker and fuller. I get haircuts so much since I started hormone replacement pellet therapy, like every 3 weeks I'm in for a haircut. Before, it was like I was going like 2 months between haircuts. So listen, it's a completely free consultation for listeners of the Steve Kane Radio Show. So call Dr. Matez's office at the biostation. Here it is. Listen at stevekaneshow.com if you miss it, but here's the number. 561-320-8893. 561-320-8893. All right, let's go back to the phones. Good morning, you're on the radio. Good morning. Once. Yes. All right, speak up.
This is Yumari from Miami. How are you?
All right, good morning. How are you?
Good morning. well, that thing happening in our country, I feel like I wake up in a third world country every day. I can't really deal with it, but...
Well, you're in Miami, so you're kind of close.
Sure thing. Just wanted to let you guys know I do work for a hospital in Broward. Luckily, I work from home, but we have turned our hospitals into cafeteria, unfortunately.
Your cafeteria is now housing COVID patients?
Yeah.
Okay, now let me ask you this. Okay, let me ask you this, because I want information. If I'm wrong about something, I'm first to admit it, and I'm not here promoting an agenda. We're searching for some truth here. The reason that they're turning other rooms into ICU units and stuff, does it have anything to do with reduced capacity due to social distancing in these rooms?
Social distancing is one thing.
Yeah.
Too is the COVID rise, big rise.
Mm.
And also wanted to let you know, I have like 14 members of my family right now. My sister just got out of the hospital with the pneumonia. And another point I wanted to make is I was vaccinated with the Johnson & Johnson. My son was vaccinated with Moderna. I got COVID, and this is his second time around getting COVID.
Were you okay? You got the Johnson & Johnson. You got the COVID after. What were you symptomatic? Was it bad?
I have to say that it wasn't that bad. I did get nasal, did not have a fever, did not lose my sense of taste or smell, and I had the body ache. My son, who is 23, did not get any kind of symptoms, but this time around, he was really sick.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he had Moderna.
We can't, so it's not like, and the hospital I work for has just made it mandatory, and I thought to myself, I didn't want to take the vaccine, but my doctor said because I'm diabetic, I had to take it.
Yeah.
But I didn't want to, but I'm thinking I would have lost my job because it's now mandatory. You have to have it.
Well, that's a scary thing when people are mandated to have a medical treatment or procedure to keep their job is pretty scary. But I'll tell you, there is a definite rise in Florida with this new variant. I wish it was all fake news, but I know more than a dozen people now that have had it. 2 have died now, and that I knew personally. Richard, of course, is the most recent of the 2, and last year I only knew 2 people all year that got it. It's and I got one friend who's a listener of ours. He and his wife, they're in Orlando, have it, and it's a rough go, and it's been weeks. And I was talking to him last night about Richard Pearl, and he said about a week ago his wife thought it was lights out for him, my friend, up in Orlando, and he's pulled through, but it's been weeks, and he's still there.
And yeah, luckily my sister already went home, but she did have the monoclonal, and she was there for a whole week. No, she had to be in the ER for 2 days until they found a hospital. South Miami actually was able to take her in because she had to wait for a bed.
Well, like I said, I was here at the hospitals in Boca, and the ERs were ghost towns when I've gone by.
Some are hit more than others, but it really is happening, and it's sad. It's just sad.
Mm-hmm. All right. Thanks for the call. All right. Take care. Good morning. You're on the radio. Good morning. Yeah, what's your name?
This is Sam over here, and I'm calling about Richard Pearl away. He was a great guy.
Yes.
He buy vitamins from him, and of course he knew everything about everything. And unfortunately, he did not wear the mask in the store, and I always did, not because I was trying to show off, but because I feel it's being polite to the other patrons and to him. Even though he didn't say anything to me, he looked at me, probably got my mask too, but it was more polite to wear the mask because, even though it's not proven scientifically that it works or don't work, but how the hell do you prove it all? I mean, nobody's doing any university studies on this. This is really a stupid thing. And standing 6 feet, how do you know it's not 7.5 feet or something else, or 7 3/4?
Well, a good chunk of all these things are feel-good things. Like in the Second World War, they would have people donate their pots and pans to make airplanes. They didn't make airplanes out of iron skillets, but they wanted people to feel like they were doing something. So there's a lot of that. I know. It's. I want to tell everyone, Richard Pearl's Simply Natural is still open for business. I talked to the store yesterday. They're still open weekdays, or 7 days a week from 11 a.m. till 9. So please continue to patronize the business for his family that are left behind.
Yes, that's correct. I agree with that 100%. He was a good guy. I met some of his family members, his father-in-law and his wife. They're all very nice people. The food is good at the restaurant, and
yeah, it's shocking. It's shocking. It's sad. Because he was not an old. He was a younger guy. He was in his 50s.
Birthday, and he would turn 59 or 60. I was talking to him last month, and
oh, was it? Yeah, he was always a little sketchy with me about his exact age.
He looked in person. He looked much younger than you would think.
He was. I've said this to Richard Pearl many times on his call-ins. I've known Richard since the late 90s, and we didn't know each other well until the last year and a half because he's been advertising with us for the last year and a half. But we've been acquaintances. Never known the guy to be sick a day in his life. I mention this to him all the time. Never. Until lately.
Dude, he had that accident, 2 accidents, and with all kinds of damaged vertebrae and everything, and he never missed 1 day of work.
No, guy's a workaholic. I don't even think he's ever taken a vacation that I know of. He was, yeah. Mm-hmm. I know.
It's 11 o'clock at night. Most nights I go there.
Sometimes later. It was like David Singer, the light's always on. It's Simply Natural in Sunrise.
I know, it's amazing that this can happen. And I knocked on a window a couple of times, and he actually opened the door and let me in.
Yeah. Well, I do want to tell. I do want to say though, Richard Pearl Simply Natural is still open for business. So please continue to patronize and support the store. I know many of you have for many years. Continue to do that.
He has working there know quite a bit. Maybe not as much as him, but probably close. Who knows?
Oh, the people that the people that work for Richard Pearl have been working there like 25 years. Yeah, absolutely.
Have been for 40 years myself, and then done the same business for like almost 30 years, and put all the time in. He was really a dedicated person, and it's really.
Oh, and a great resource because I was talking to Richard, a couple weeks ago, and it was one of the last times that we talked on the air. And I got a problem. I run it by him. Steve was having some dehydration problems, and when you're dehydrated, it's hard to hydrate. It's hard to drink enough water. Once you're dehydrated, your body stops telling you it's thirsty. And I said, "Do you have a supplement over there?" "Oh yeah, we've got this. Whatever ails you, you'll find a supplement for it at Simply Natural." Wow. I know.
It's right next to the IHOP, because sometimes it's hard to see it. It's exactly on the corner, right before the IHOP if you're going north, and if you're going south, it's on the left-hand side.
That's right, just north of Sunset Strip on the east side of University, and the same shopping center as the IHOP. That's right, just north of the IHOP, same shopping center.
Listen, and by the IHOP, you can still go down a little bit and turn right.
That's a good idea. I should have been. I'll continue. I'll use the IHOP as a landmark for the commercials in the future, because the IHOP is a good landmark now that you mention it.
Yeah, it worked for me many times because I'm a lousy landmark finder unless there is a landmark like the IHOP.
And today, kids today, you go to millennials and younger, they don't even know how to read addresses. Because everything's in their maps on their phone. They don't even know how to read addresses anymore. So you got to use landmarks to tell millennials and those younger than millennials on how to find places. Yeah. All right. Hey, listen. Take care. Thanks for the call. Good morning. You're on the radio.
Good morning, Brian.
Yes.
Hi, it's Sandra from Boca.
Hey, Sandra. All right. How are you?
Well, upset.
Oh, yeah.
Richard Pearl was on vacation. I didn't know anything about it until you just mentioned it this morning on the air, and I'm so upset.
Yeah.
That was one person who still believed in freedom of speech and all the things that America is supposed to be, and just to think that he passed away, I put my hand over my mouth when you said it.
It was, I mean, obviously, Steve and I knew that he was ill, okay? And I've kept it off the air because I didn't, you know, I remember Steve was having a few years back, Steve was in the hospital for something minor, and I mentioned, oh, Steve's in the hospital, he'll be back next week. Sure enough, some listeners calling Steve in his hospital room. I don't even know how they did it. You know, I didn't say what hospital. You know how many hospitals there are? So, you know, we've kept it on the down low. I've talked to Richard twice since he's been sick. Last time I talked to him was last Monday. And I talked to him the Friday before. And when I talked to him on the Friday before, he answered. I called him right after I got off the air. He sounded sick as hell. But it sounded like I also woke him up, you know? And I talked to him for a moment, and then I let him go. And then I called him back last Monday, a week ago yesterday, and he answered the phone, and he sounded a lot better. Sounded like he had a chest cold, but he sounded great. And he said, hey, Brian, he's like, I'm in the hospital. He was talking to the doctor. He says, we'll talk next week. And next week was yesterday. And on Saturday, I was really getting worried over the last week on the show. And something on Saturday got me thinking. I just had a feeling, and I called him on Saturday. I didn't get an answer. I called him back and left a message. I didn't get it, and I just had a feeling. And I told Steve, I said, we got to prepare ourselves. And I did not know until after the show yesterday that he passed away on Saturday. Okay? I didn't know until after we got off the air yesterday that he passed away. And I just had I don't know. I just had a vibe on Saturday.
He said, rest in peace. I said, what the hell? I said, what did he just say?
Yeah.
I really, because Richie was the one who kind of said, Richard, rest in peace.
Yeah.
I was talking to you this morning, and I went, that can't be. I said to myself, there's got to be something wrong. But, yeah, too much going on and too many lives, and I've gotten my first vaccination, and now I can honestly say that this is the right time.
Mm-hmm.
This is really the right time. Like, it was mandated for my job. Obviously, you know, little mixed feelings, but now that I see everything coming into perspective and how really dangerous this variant is, that I'm glad I got it. I'm glad I got it. I'm glad I'm going to go get my second one because, honestly, when it comes this close to home, when people that you know, people that you've listened to on the radio pretty much every day are now passing away, it's like, this is not a joke.
Yeah.
The timing of the vaccine, based on the people that are getting reinfected, has a lot to do with it. Like those people, this came out from the Israeli registry health system, that the people that were vaccinated in December or January, way at the beginning, their antibodies now have decreased. So that's why there's the need for the third dose. But if you're not that protected, you don't have that many antibodies, then you are susceptible for getting infected.
Well, I'll tell you, a real good friend of mine who's in Orlando, I have a lot of friends in Orlando, so not my friend that has COVID. They don't have COVID, but about 30-40% of their workforce has COVID. 2 of them have died. Steve and I have known 2 people in the last 2 weeks that have died. Okay, and one of them is Richard, and it's you know, and it's unfortunate. You know, it's a very political thing, and you know,
Right about that, though. It's got to be my choice when it's time. It's got to be my choice when it's time. Everything happens at the right time.
Yeah. Well, listen, it's past time for my top of the hour break, so I got to run. But thank you so much for your call. If you're on hold, stand by. We'll take our break. Steve Kane will be joining us. If you're on hold, stand by. Our number toll free 1-888-GO-KANE-1. We'll be right back.
We've got you covered. AM 1470, FM 95.3, 96.9. South Florida's FM Money Talk Radio Network. WWNN, Pompano Beach.
If you suffer with diabetes, there's a 25% chance that you'll develop a foot
Steve Kane Show. Steve Kane Show. Oh, hey, hold on.
You can receive your very own therapeutic shoes and custom inserts. Medicare recipients are entitled to 1 pair of quality diabetic shoes and 3 custom inserts. Call the Soul Authority today, 954-597-7060.
All right, be right back, guys.
Attention seniors and those who care about them. This is Brian Craig. I'm in studio with Debbie from I Will Advisors. She has an incredible new service to tell you about called I Will Advocates. Debbie, what is I Will Advocates and how are you helping seniors?
Well, Brian, over the past few years of owning a Medicare insurance agency, we've learned that there's a huge need for Medicare advocacy, that a lot of people don't have a child or a spouse that can assist them with their medical needs, and that's where we step in.
There's a lot of things that seniors need help with. Prescriptions, doctor's appointments, things like this. How do you help them with that?
If you're having a problem at the doctor's office, having problems scheduling an appointment in a timely manner, we can step in. If you're having issues at the pharmacy, having problems refilling a prescription, or feel that you're being mischarged for something, you can contact us and we will step in. Even if you're at the hospital and you feel like you're being neglected, we're going to be there for you at a touch of a button, whether it's to call the nurse's station or assist in any other way.
So if someone's in the hospital, they feel they're not getting the care that they need, they haven't seen their doctor,
Steve Kane
they
Show.
haven't seen their nurse, they can actually call you and you'll contact the hospital for them?
Absolutely. We act as your family. We'll step up, we'll call the nurse's station and ask for some assistance. If we can't get anything done there, we'll go to the higher levels.
Now, this is a service that you're offering. Now, they do not have to be an existing client of I Will Advisors to take advantage of this, right?
Oh, of course not. No, we're here for any Medicare client. We can assist in any way. We don't need to be your insurance agent. We're just here to help you with your medical needs.
This is an incredible opportunity for those of you who are Medicare recipients. Debbie at I Will Advocates will help you with your prescriptions. You'll set up doctor's appointments for them, including the primary care physician and specialist, right?
Of course. We'll assist in anything to help you find new doctors.
They'll help you with your medical billing. They'll help you with your insurance billing. If you feel you've been billed wrong by your doctor, they'll step in for that and even help you if you're in the hospital. Basically, what you're offering is a concierge service to senior citizens.
That's exactly it.
That's amazing. I've never heard of anything like this before. So how much does this cost?
Well, for just $20 a month, you will have the security of knowing that you have an experienced, compassionate advocate just a touch of a button away.
To learn more, call Debbie's office. The number 954-345-1214. 954-345-1214. Or go online. You can sign up online at iwilladvocates.com. That's iwilladvocates.com.
The Steve Kane Show is brought to you by attorney Barry Siegel at the Siegel Law Group. Are you concerned with the distribution of your assets at the time of your passing? Avoid probate. Call the Siegel Law Group with 9 offices throughout South Florida, from Palm Beach Gardens to Coral Gables. Call toll-free 1-855-FLA-3782.
You know, I have the Apple Watch 1 when they first came out, and I stopped wearing this watch like a year or two ago, and I started wearing it this week. I kind of like the Apple Watch. It comes in handy. I don't know. I don't know if I'd buy a new one. All right, third and final hour of the Tuesday morning edition of Florida's longest-running radio show, The Steve Kane Show, on the radio since 1977, has begun. And joining us live from the Laporta Contracting radio studio in Coral Springs, Steve Kane with us. Oh, good. You sound great. Now, Steve and I, we've been talking. I know a little more than a dozen people who have had COVID in the last 3 weeks. 2 of them have passed away. And we have one of the dozen people I know that have had COVID in the past 3 weeks on the line, Dr. Lemaski. Hey, Dr. Lemaski.
Good morning.
Hi, how are you? Now, you sound much better than you did a week or so ago.
Oh yeah, I was not doing well a week or so ago. Actually, it was 3 weeks, and fortunately, I did heal, but I did test positive for COVID, and I definitely had it where I had a bunch of different symptoms. Initially it felt like the flu. I wasn't sure where I contracted it. I wasn't sure if it was through patients at work, because I do have kind of a small office, a standard size office. But I did do a yoga class, and no one was wearing masks, and we were kind of laying on mats and different pillows. So I'm not sure where I contracted it. It was one either in my office or at the yoga studio. But when I did, it hit me like a ton of bricks. I woke up on Sunday morning, and I had like a migraine and aches and body pains like no flu I've had before. It was really, really difficult, and
Steve
it was
Kane
scary.
Show.
Psychologically, people ask because I'm
Steve
a
Kane Show.
psychologist, but I was very scared because
Hey.
each day I woke up,
Steve
my
Kane Show.
symptoms were different. One day
Hey,
for
Barry,
24 hours, I had a metallic taste. I had a strange sensation in my nose for like 3 days. I had something called like restless leg syndrome, which feels like bugs crawling up and down your spine, and I couldn't sleep between midnight and 5 in the morning. It was very scary, and it was very strange. Like I said, I did contract it. I was not vaccinated. I was waiting to be vaccinated. I have a history of allergic reactions and anaphylaxis, and my doctor said I could wait. And I waited a long time, and then I contracted it. Fortunately, my son tested negative, and my parents tested negative, who I was with on Friday. And like I said, Sunday, the symptoms really started. But when my symptoms started to, I thought, get better, I noticed one morning I woke up with like a croup cough, and I felt winded, like very out of breath. And I got concerned, and I have a friend, actually it's the rabbi's wife of this Rebbitzin, who called me, and she said, "Did you get the cocktail?" And I didn't know what she meant when she said, "Did you get the cocktail?" And she explained that's the monoclonal antibody IV. And I said, "No," and she said, "You need it." Well, I was afraid to get anything in my body. So I took like the day and I researched it, and then she set me up to go, and this physician in Margate, he's an infectious disease doctor, I went to his office, I Ubered there, and I got the IV, and then I Ubered home. It took, the whole thing was waiting and stuff was like 2.5 hours, but it took an hour for the IV.
So you were too sick to drive. You were too sick to drive.
Oh yeah, way too sick to drive, and I double masked it. I went in the Uber, and I was also told that after the IV.
Well, let me clarify. Was it an Uber or or an Uber X?
Oh no, I'm using Uber. I couldn't even see straight, Brian.
Oh, really? You took a regular car? Oh my goodness! Oh my goodness! Shocker.
Regular car, but what I noticed in both of the cars, and I was really out of it because I was sick, and I also had this brain fog, which as a psychologist is not a good.
Yeah. So when you got the IV, this cocktail, how long? Obviously it worked because you're better now. But how long did it take for you to start feeling better?
I have to tell you, the next morning.
Wow, really?
The migraine and the aches and pains in my joints and my kidneys that I was having, these like intense pains.
The next morning.
They completely went away.
Wow.
That croup cough that started in my chest, and that's what I was afraid of because I started to get winded, and I never had anything. I didn't have the cough or anything in my chest until like the 5th day. So on the 5th day, I went and got this monoclonal antibody IV, and it changed everything. What happened after that was I was just left with a ton of fatigue for weeks and like a runny nose. But all the other symptoms, the restless leg, everything, it was.
Well, Governor DeSantis has put these IV cocktail places all over the state of Florida, and there's more opening up. Now, how long after your first symptom did you go for the cocktail?
I got sick, very sick on Sunday, and I went for the cocktail on Wednesday.
Oh, that's good. Because from what I've heard, yeah.
Thursday, which was actually long because
that is. Yeah, they say you got to go right away for it to work. If you wait too long, it may not work. You got in right on time, I guess.
Doctor said the sooner the better, and I can't begin to tell you how many people that I've encouraged. I just had a friend of mine who's an attorney who called me last night, and she said, Dr. J, I have COVID, and I was following, your story because I was talking, on my show that I do on Saturdays with Alan Knight. We were talking about my COVID experience. She says, what should I do? And she sounded horrible. She said, my primary care physician said, don't worry, you can just rest at home, you'll get better.
Oh my.
Really need the monoclonal. And I think totally not. If anybody is sick, even if your symptoms are mild. You don't know how this thing changes. It changed after 5 days, and it got in my chest, and I was healing. So I just went because I didn't know. This is a very unknown type of virus. This is not like the flu, and we know what happens. It changes, and I think that helps me so much.
Are you 100% now? Are you 100% now? You all better?
I'm all better.
Oh, good.
Actually going into the office this week, I finally got my negative COVID test. It took me 3 weeks, though, since the beginning to get a test that was negative.
And now you've got the antibodies.
And now I have the antibodies, correct.
That's right. Well, that's all good news. Yeah, glad you pulled through.
Thank you, Dr. Shanae. Are you referring patient, or if somebody wants to get a hold of you and find out how you did it and where you went, how would you do that?
Absolutely. Well, anyone can get in touch with me, through my office number. It comes right to my cell phone. It's 561-777-2021. 561-777-2021. I'm also, I've been posting on Facebook. You can contact me, or Instagram, and I've been putting links. I have the link up for the monoclonal antibody, because this is not just one place. Like you said, I know DeSantis is putting out
they're all over.
But West Boca Medical is actually doing it, and Boca Regional Hospital is doing it. I do believe you need to get a prescription, but if anybody needs it and they don't have a doctor prescription, I can get you to the place I went to and this infectious disease doctor.
Well, listen, we gotta run for a break, but thanks for calling and sharing your experience. All right, Dr. Lemaski. All right, we'll take a break and be right back after this. Don't go anywhere.
Paying an outrageous fortune for your tires. Go easy on your budget and buy your tires at Friendly Tire in Margate, where they have all the major brands like Goodyear and Firestone at discount prices that absolutely can't be beat. Steve Kane's tires for his Toyota van. At the other shops, $175 a tire. At Friendly Tire, just $75 a tire. That's a $100 savings per tire. Tires for my daughter Emily's car, $135 at the shops around town. The price at Friendly Tire, only $65. That's a $70 savings per tire. These prices are out the door and on the road. Free mounting and balancing and no added charges. Friendly Tire have a great selection of good used tires too, starting at just $30 for most cars. Call my good buddy Friendly Mike at Friendly Tire. Tell him what you drive and he will give you a great low price right over the phone. 954-977-9445. 954-977-9445. Online, friendlytire.net.
Hi, my name is Tom Laporta, the owner of Laporta Contracting, Roofing, and Restoration. We have been in the roofing and construction industry since 1982. We are state of Florida certified roofing and general contractors focusing on residential and commercial roofing, impact windows, and building restoration. The 2021 hurricane season is upon us. If you have noticed any water stains on your ceiling, or if your roof is older than 15 years, you will want to call us to come out and evaluate your roof. Our services run from minor repairs to complete new roof systems. We install every kind of roof, from regular asphalt shingles, clay or concrete tiles, standing metal seam, wood shakes, and slate tile systems. Call us at 954-604-4602 for a free home inspection and estimate. Again, that number is 954-604-4602.
Listen to the Steve Kane Show on iHeartRadio. Just search for
All right, we are back 18 minutes after the hour. I'm Brian, Steve here. Yeah, so it's a rough day with the passing of Richard Pearl over the weekend. Oh my goodness. You back with us, Steve? I got you. Okay. Yeah. Oh man. Yeah. What do you mean?
Take it back exactly a year. There was an awareness of COVID last year. What was the
COVID? I don't know. Maybe January, February. We were talking about it. February.
But what's going on now is totally different than what was going on last year. It's amazing.
Yeah.
You don't speak to anybody that doesn't know people firsthand and have people in their family?
Well, you know what I don't know is this kind of a Florida thing, or is it like this everywhere? I don't know. It may be just Florida, maybe having more problems than other places. Before we go back to the phones, though, our number 1-888-GO-CANE 1-888-465-2631. I wanted to get back on the news issues. Is that there's one thing I started with early in the show. I want to go back to it because I think it's very, very important, involving Jen Psaki. And Joe Biden has left thousands of Americans behind enemy lines. And we're a week away from the Taliban deadline of withdrawal of U.S. forces. The Taliban told Biden, 31st is it. Have everybody out by then. Have the soldiers out by then. That's the deal. And Joe Biden doesn't look like a guy who stands up to the Taliban. And we're a week away from what I think will happen is these stranded people, stranded American citizens. I'm not talking about the Afghans that worked for us. I'm talking about the American citizens that are stranded behind enemy lines. I think the Taliban's going to start openly taking them as hostages. They're hostages now because they're stranded and trapped behind the enemy Taliban lines. But I think they're going to. It'll be like the 80s, in Lebanon, where they were taking American hostages all the time. I think they're going to openly take them as human shields when we get to September 1st. You can tell by the way they are talking. So yesterday, in the White House press briefing with Jen Psaki, her first name and last name are after popular types of alcohol. She was asked about the stranded Americans in Afghanistan by Steve Ducey, and her response was just appalling. Listen to this. Jen Psaki with Ducey yesterday.
Does the president have a sense that most of the criticism is not of leaving Afghanistan, it's the way that he has ordered it to happen by pulling the troops before getting these Americans who are now stranded? Does he have a sense of that?
First of all, I think it's irresponsible to say Americans are stranded. They are not. We are committed to bringing Americans who want to come home. We are in touch with them via phone, via text, via email, via any way that we can possibly reach Americans to get them home if they want to return home.
There are no Americans stranded is the White House's official position on what's happening in Afghanistan right now.
I'm just calling you out for saying that we are stranding Americans in Afghanistan when we have been very clear that we are not leaving Americans who want to return home. We are going to bring them home, and I think that's important for the American public to hear and understand.
Okay, and I'm telling you, one of our listeners in the first hour of the program said something that I think is very, very true. It's very true. Okay, so she says it's irresponsible to call the stranded Americans stranded, and they're going to bring everybody home, which is nonsense. They don't have enough guys over there to bring anybody home. This is what our listener said in the first hour in our YouTube live chat room, and I think this is what they're going to do. After the 31st, they're going to say that everyone who wanted to leave has gotten out, and the ones that have stayed wanted to stay. I think they're going to try to make a claim that the people that are left behind made a choice to stay behind in Afghanistan and not return to America. I think that's what they're going to do, and I can see that they're annoyed at these people in Afghanistan. And we're not talking about Afghans that worked for us. We are talking about the American civilians that are stuck over there, stranded. You can tell she's annoyed.
She's annoyed because they're interfering with the narrative.
Yeah, and Fox News played a phone call from an American civilian in Kabul. This woman is an American who's trapped and stranded in Kabul. Okay, listen to this.
Hour by hour, it's getting more difficult. Even when the cars pass by, I feel like they're gonna stop by the door and there and the Taliban and they're gonna come and kill us. I'm really scared. Please help me whenever it's the soonest.
She sounds stranded to me. Sounds stranded to you?
I suspect she feels she's stranded.
I've never seen anything like this from. I've never seen any administration so uncaring about American citizens abroad.
Well, is this something that's going to be resolved in historical terms? Is this going to be no matter which way it falls, a body count victory? In other words, if Americans escape with little or no loss of life, there's one historical outcome as far as Biden is concerned. And if the body count falls the wrong way, where it ends up being a massacre of...
There's no way there's not a massacre, because even if they got every American out of Afghanistan, which they're not going to do. Well,
they're in there are armed.
No, they're not. No, they're not, Steve. It's not. They're not soldiers. They're civilians. They're not armed. They're civilian workers. They're not the army. They're not armed. They're completely unarmed. They don't have a weapon. I mean, they may find a weapon around, a rock or a crowbar or something. These are civilian workers. No, these are not military people. They are unarmed, Steve. Well, even if they get every American out, which they're not, okay, they're not. They don't have the ability to do. We would need to send in 250,000 troops to do it.
The ability to do it if the leadership.
No. There are thousands of Americans, not just in Kabul, throughout the entire country that are stranded, okay? We only have barely enough troops to hold the airport. They would have to send in they'd have to send in the whole army again, 200,000 soldiers to do it. That takes time. And by the time they were mobilized to do it, the Taliban would be using them all as human shields. And no, it can't, it's done. Biden has really dropped the ball. But even if they got every American out, which they're not going to do, but even if they did, there would be a slaughter of the Afghan civilians that worked for us. And I was last week on the show, Fox News reported that these idiots at the embassy left behind all the records. The Taliban have the payroll records of all the Afghan citizens that have been working for us for 20 years, and they're going to their houses and ripping them out of their homes. Yeah, so there's no, and you could tell by listening to Psaki, they don't give a damn, and they're bothered at these people because they're over there. They're angry at the American civilians that are stranded over there. You can tell, and what they're doing every step of the way, they think that this is a news cycle, and there'll be a new news cycle, and they'll survive it. Jacqueline, $20 super sticker. Thank you. Thank Jacqueline. Yeah, it's going to be the Taliban massacres. I mean, there's two things yesterday that came out. One, a popular Afghan stand-up comic, the Taliban, they picked him up and shot him dead. He was telling jokes all the way through the execution, it's being reported, but they executed him. Boom, just like that. So there's going to be a mass bloodletting. It's already taking place over there. I've never seen anything like it. I want to play this last clip before we break at the bottom. This was from over the weekend. I saw on television. This is a colonel in the British Army. And if you notice, there's been very vocal anti-Biden comments coming from the Brits. This is a colonel in the British Army talking about Biden.
The whole world just became vastly more dangerous. The US government, President Biden humiliated the United States. He humiliated the United States Army. In my opinion, and I don't say this lightly, and I've never said it about anybody else, any other leader in this position, people have been talking about impeaching President Biden. I don't believe President Biden should be impeached. He's the Commander-in-Chief of the US Armed Forces, who's just essentially surrendered to the Taliban. He shouldn't be impeached. He should be court-martialed for betraying the United States of America and the United States Armed Forces.
Okay. Now, I mean, the reason I played that is there's two things here. One, I've never heard the Brits come out against the American president, and they did yesterday in Parliament. They passed some resolution condemning Biden. This is unheard of. That special relationship is very special right now. But he used a word, though, the reason I played that with the UK colonel there, surrender to the Taliban, because that's basically what's happened, right? He sold it to China and surrendered to the Taliban, and these people are stuck. And the Taliban, it's been about a week, I think it was last Wednesday, maybe even Tuesday, but last week is when they surrounded the airport. So they've been building fortifications and digging in for nearly a week now in Kabul, surrounding the airport. There's nothing, and they're equally as well armed as our guys because they have all our equipment. And there's another problem too. They have a storehouse of American uniforms. So when you're talking about Kabul, you're talking about combat in a city. It is so bad, Steve, that our guys may not be able to tell who their guys are because they're in American uniforms, right? And they're in American uniforms. You can't even tell them apart. Maybe if you get up close, you see they got a beard on, okay, but you know, that's
publicly announcing that everything is okay.
Nothing to see here. Nothing to see here. It's like when CNN called those protests peaceful when they were in front of a burning building. You know, remember that a few months ago? Yeah. I mean, that's like a scene out of the Naked Gun movies. You know, nothing to see here.
The worst scenario plays out. Is there any chance that...
I don't know. It looks like the Democrats are saying let them eat cake. I mean, Pelosi with that Napa Valley event that she had over the weekend, a couple hundred people, no masks except the Mexican servants, and you know, while she's cracking down on us, they seem to feel invincible.
They don't spend a lot of time talking about it. They do a little bit, but the fact is that all this horrible financial bill that they've got poised to pass, hanging by a thread.
Yeah.
The question is, will the course of that bill, which is economically totally destructive to the United States, will the course of that gets passed or not be influenced by this?
They probably see it as an opportunity to pass it, since people aren't really concerned about it. You know, don't let a crisis go to waste. Good crisis go to waste.
That's going to be a thing that plays out in the Congress.
Well, this is what I see happening, Steve, and I don't say this with pleasure. This is not political. These are Americans. I don't care if they're Democrats or Green Party people. They're Americans, unarmed civilians. I was surprised you didn't realize that. Yeah, they are unarmed civilian workers that are behind enemy lines. It's only a matter of time before the official hostage taking takes place and they start rounding people up. What would Biden do if they have a couple thousand American civilian hostages? And some of these, by the way, are women and families, people over there with their families. So I'm imagining there's got to be children in these groups. I'm imagining. I hope not. But if they capture a few thousand hostages that are openly hostages, what would Biden do? Let's take our break, and I'm gonna let's throw that out to the listeners. Let me give out the number. What would Biden? Now, I believe they're already hostages, but they haven't rounded them up. They've just surrounded them. So here's the question, and when we come back from the break, I want to take your calls on this question. The Taliban take a couple thousand American hostages openly. What would Biden's reaction be? 1-888-GO-KANE-1. That's Kane and the number 1. It's a serious question because in about a week, that's going to happen. 1-888-465-2631. 888-465-2631. I'm Brian Craig. Steve Kane is here. We'll be back with your calls and more discussion after this.
95.3, 96.9. South Florida's FM Money Talk Radio Network. WWNN, Pompano Beach.
Steve Kane, radio listeners love Champagne Automotive Repair in Boca.
I went over to a Champagne Automotive, and I gotta say that this man is the most fair mechanic I have dealt with in my entire life. We took a car over there that was not being used yet. You know, it belonged to my 90-year-old.
Steve Kane Show. Hold on. Hello?
doesn't need. And their prices are low. Champagne Automotive Repair in Boca. Give them a call.
Steve Kane Show.
561-245-8101.
Yep. What's your name?
245-8101.
Oh, hey, Barbara.
On the line, we have our estate planning attorney, Attorney Barry Siegel. Hey, Barry, good morning.
Good morning, Brian. How are you?
I'm doing great. How are you in the world of estate planning and elder law going?
The world of estate planning and elder law is very busy. A lot of people are concerned about protecting their assets, making sure they leave a legacy the proper way for their loved ones. I had a lady come in this past week. The issue she was having was she had a husband who has Alzheimer's, and she had to quit
Steve
her
Kane
job.
Show.
Her son had to quit his job, and they were caring
Hold on. You're not on the air yet, okay? Hold on.
They're worried about spending down their assets eventually on having to pay for some outside care. And anyway, they were very relieved when they came in to find out that we're going to be able to get him qualified for Medicaid. They want to, at least for the time being, of course they want to keep him home as long as they can, but they're going to be able to keep him home, get him care. Likely Medicaid will provide about 40 hours of care every single week, which will free them up and will help them also protect their assets. And they really had no clue. Somebody at one of the Alzheimer's organizations that they go to for support had referred them, and they were in disbelief. They had no idea that they could have gotten all of this help and not have to spend down their assets. So I know there are a lot of people in the same situation who just are unaware that planning is available and available to help protect their time, protect their assets, and their peace of mind.
Yeah, and this Medicaid planning, Barry Siegel has an entire team at his law office that specialize in this and do this all day, every day, and it's a very complex thing that they have an expertise in. You want to give them a call, and so many spouses, Barry, they spend all their assets taking care of their husband, taking care of their wife, and then they pass and they're left with nothing. And sometimes they even sell their home. That's not necessary. Call Attorney Barry Siegel. A free consultation for Steve Kane listeners. His number, 1-855-FLA Estate. 855
Richard Pearl passed away.
That's
Richard Pearl.
855-352-3782. And, of course, his website, SiegelLawGroup.com, a brand new updated website that you want to check out as well, Attorney Barry Siegel. All right, Barry, we will talk later in the week.
All right, Brian, thank you so much. Have a great day.
You too. Take care.
Listen to the Steve Kane Show
Yes.
on iHeartRadio. Just search for it.
All right, we're back. I'm Brian, Steve Kane here. Okay, we're going to go to the phones. The question we asked before the break, if the deadline is next week, the 31st, if starting September 1st, the Taliban openly take a couple thousand American hostages, what would Biden do? Good, and we. Okay, hold on, callers.
I'd like to reframe the question because I don't think that's the right question.
Okay, so those of you on hold, you can answer the other question too that Steve's going to ask. Okay, so don't. We got a full board.
My question is, how will it be affected by American deaths? So in other words, not just what will they do, what is there anything that's going to happen that is going to lead to a large loss of...
Well, Steve, I remember when I was a kid, but I remember like yesterday, the front page of the newspapers after the U.S. Embassy fell in Tehran with the 51 American hostages blindfolded and what that did. If we have... Well, you're obsessed with the death, Steve. But if not really, if they have 5,000 American civilian hostages blindfolded, threatening to kill them if Biden doesn't do what they tell him to do, I think that's a big thing, Steve. What would Biden do in that situation? Because we're going to see that next week. They're going to start taking them as hostages openly next week. It's going to happen. They demanded Biden have the army out by the 31st yesterday, or else. Or else. What does that mean? All right, let's go. Well, let's find out what the callers think, because they're calling in. All right, good morning. You're on the radio. What's your name?
My name is Pat.
Hey, Pat.
What I feel about your first question is Biden will show no mercy, which will lead the Taliban to behead on a daily basis our citizens. There is no hope for these. Wait a minute, sir. And the next one is, in answer to your question, how are we going to be effective? As I know, all I know is that this is the greatest Army, Navy, Marines in the world. And there should be no stopping, and they have to go back.
Well, wait a minute. How great? Let's be. You said on two different things. Let me go in reverse. The greatest Army, Navy, Air Force, Marines, and Space Force. Okay, but if our military leadership are a bunch of woke guys concerned about critical race theory, do we really have the greatest military in the world if its leaders are such wimpy wokers?
Buck stops with Biden. If he is the guy who makes the total decision, which it appears he is, all right, Biden is not going to order anything that will kill anybody. I don't believe that. I don't think he has it in him. I think he's one of those...
But what if they beheaded American civilians, Steve, next week?
I don't think he would order... I think he wants to be responsible for the death of anyone on the other side.
But he would be responsible for the beheadings. What do you think, caller?
I believe he will behead. Listen, remember the Mr. Pearl who was killed slowly but surely by cutting his head off?
Yes.
Is the beginning of what we are going to see on a daily basis, and then they will put women in there.
See, here's the thing, okay? With they're going to take our...
Ask this lady, is the final act of your scenario we go in and wipe them out in retaliation?
We have to get them out, just like...
Biden won't do that. This is. Let me tell you what's going to start happening, caller. You brought up some good points here. What's going to happen if Biden doesn't get the army out of the airport by the Taliban deadline, which, you know, they're going to take our Americans hostages starting next week openly. They're going to take our female people. They're going to take our ladies, our women, and put them in their harems and start the forced marriages, which they've been doing. And God knows what they're going to do to the men. And what we've done, what Biden has done, is not only supplied them with the best, most, you know, the Afghan army was lying about its size. It was never 300,000. It was much smaller. But we resupplied a 300,000 man army. So we've given them an entirely mechanized, all this military equipment. They have the Afghan army to use it for them, who will gladly do it. And we've also given them a forever lifetime supply of hostages by leaving them behind. And I don't talk about this with pleasure. This is not a partisan thing. These are American citizens back there, and this guy screwed up. And Kamala, yesterday, she's off in Asia, hopefully people will forget, she talked about Christmas shopping yesterday, didn't mention Afghanistan. So this is pretty bad.
Well, the only thing that we are going to do in a
Steve
normal
Kane Show.
thing is we have to take this president down.
Okay, now you're going too far. Okay, now look who we have on the line. You know, this has been a sad day for us. You know, we've been talking about the passing of Richard Pearl, and you never know, right? You never know. Richard and I are almost about the same age, and we have on the line Attorney Barry Siegel, our estate planning attorney. Attorney Barry Siegel, good morning. Well, you know, losing one of our friends, Richard Pearl, from Simply Natural, it's not a great day. It's a sad day, but it is a reminder, though, of what you tell us all the time, Barry.
Yeah, well, one thing is we certainly don't have a crystal ball, so we don't know what tomorrow's going to bring. Certainly have to be thankful for every day, and every day is a blessing. We also want to plan ahead, as since we don't know what tomorrow brings, whether it's, God forbid, it's an incapacity or the end, we want to plan for it, make sure the people we love are taken care of, that we leave directions, that we make things simple for them to handle, that we don't leave them with the nightmare of probate, that when we leave them assets, that it comes to them in a way where it's protected and it goes where the person wants it to go and doesn't go where they don't want it to go. It's a lot of things that really need to be taken care of, and unfortunately, some people procrastinate when it comes to doing the planning. So my advice is just get it done. If you haven't done it in a long time, if it's out of date, come in, get it reviewed, and we'll make sure that it's up to date.
Yeah, and Dr. Lemaski called us earlier. She had COVID pretty bad. She was talking about her son. She's a single parent, and her husband, she's a widow. Her husband had passed away, so her son, that's his last parent. You've always got to. How often do people call you, Barry, and someone's incapacitated in the hospital, and all of a sudden they want to start the process? Does that happen a lot?
We do get that quite a bit where, maybe somebody's right on the verge, or they need to get their planning done right away. They may have very beginning stages of dementia, and need to get things done right away. Sometimes they're able to get it done, sometimes it's just too late.
Well, if you do it early, you can get it done. And you know what? If you mention the Steve Kane Show, it's a free consultation over at the Siegel Law Group. And if you already have estate planning that's been done in the past, Attorney Barry Siegel recommends that you have your estate planning reviewed every 3 years. He'll review your estate planning at no charge as well. Give his office a call, 855-FLA-3782. 855-FLA-3782, and online, SiegelLawGroup.com. Attorney Barry Siegel, have a great day. We'll talk later in the week. All right, take care. Oh, man. All right, let's take a quick call, and then we'll be at the Gold Report in a moment, okay? Let's take a call first, though. Good morning. You're on the radio. What's your name? Good morning. Yes, you're on the air. Yeah, what's your name?
Barbara from Sunrise.
Hey, Barbara.
Hey, I've been listening to everything you said about Biden, and especially that he sold out to China, and I totally agree with you. I feel that even if they take hostages, especially American hostages, Biden will do nothing. He's been doing it.
Well, wait a minute. Now, I made the terrible mistake of many years ago when the war on terror was going on. I saw one of those terrible videos online. I'll never watch another one. It's god awful. It's god awful. If they were to behead an American civilian, what do you think Biden would do?
I don't know that he would do anything.
Oh my goodness.
At that point, I don't know.
We have a lot of women over there. I played that call for. I played the call of the lady, the American civilian trapped. She called Fox. If they take our civilian American women and put them in their harems, there's more weddings going on in Kabul than in Vegas right now, because they're marrying all the women as a victory, for a lot of them. If they start marrying our women, what will Biden do?
Do anything.
Oh my goodness.
Cynical?
I hope so.
Maybe I'm being
I agree with her.
Oh my gosh.
This guy has shown me not a single move that would. It's like he's afraid that.
Checked out.
Yeah, exactly.
He's sold out and checked out.
Sold out, checked out, and doesn't have the guts
My goodness.
to do anything that would cause death.
Oh my goodness. But inaction is causing the death of Americans.
The guy that's the head of the Taliban knows that.
Well, let me tell you, we got to run for the Gold Report. But I'll tell you, these guys that are running the Taliban are very smart. This is not the old Taliban from 2001. This Taliban they've been down in Gitmo getting an education. It's obvious. All right, take care. Now it's time for the Gold Report from the offices of William Youngerman Incorporated in Boca Raton. William Youngerman himself on the line. William Youngerman, good morning.
Good morning, Brian. How you?
Great. How the metals looking today?
Big rally yesterday, well above the $1,800 what was resistance. We broke through that and have been holding nicely above that. Gold closing up $24.80 yesterday after trading in a range of 1776 to 1808. We closed at 1805.50, right up at highs of $24.80. Silver did 61-cent gain at $23.63 the ounce close. Platinum closed up $24 at $1,014. Palladium was up $122 at $2,330. And rhodium, in case for those who have bought rhodium from us, it was up $700 at $15,800. This morning we got gold up another $2.50 at $1,808. Overnight the low was about $1,800, but did not break the $1,800. Silver 12 cents at $23.75 the ounce. Platinum down 10 right now at $1,004, and palladium up $56 at $23.86. And we've got the dollar weaker, back at the index back under 93. Oil at $66.55 a barrel, and things are looking good for the metals. And it's still a great time to get in and take advantage of these lower prices. But it looks like we're building some momentum towards making much higher prices.
Now, you were telling me last week, William Youngerman, for people that are out of town or for even local and can't make it into the store, but if they're around America, that you can help them too when it comes to purchasing the metals. Can you tell people a little bit about that?
We ship rare coins and precious metals all over the world, and you can simply call us anytime to discuss your purchase, lock in the price, meaning we can set the price at that time. You wire the money or overnight a check or something, whatever's convenient for you. And we ship it wherever you want it shipped, fully insured.
Fully insured. You hear that, guys? All right. So listen, give William Youngerman a call no matter where you are. They open up weekdays at 10 a.m. The number, 1-800-327-5010. 1-800-327-5010. Online, WilliamYoungerman.com. And if you want to stop in, right here in Boca Raton at 150 East Palmetto Park Road in Boca on the first floor of the Bank of America building. I just drove by your building the other day with my wife. I said, that's William Youngerman's office. She says, wow, that's a beautiful office in there. She said, yeah, so stop in, guys, and take a look. It's really a fun place to visit because you have all the collectible coins, and I love the old currencies, the old Florida currencies and things you have up there. Amazing. So stop on in. All right, William Youngerman, we'll talk tomorrow. All right, take care. It is a museum over there, Steve, isn't it? Oh, man. You know, whenever I go to William Youngerman, I'm just looking up at the wall to see what they have on display there because they have. I love old money. I think old money is so cool. You're not into old money. I have old money, you know, and it's a fun thing to collect.
Good, you can, it's just feel is a high commodity.
Yeah, absolutely. Now, listen, we only have one opening on the board. We're going to go to the phones, and because the clock is ticking, I just want to tell you guys, if you're on hold, listen on the phone, not on whatever device or radio you're listening to us on. Turn the radio, computer, phone, TV down that you're listening to us on, and listen over the phone. All right, let's go. You're on the radio. What's your name?
Richard in Pompano.
You're on the air, Richard.
Okay, this is extremely serious, what's going on right now. And what I have to say, I don't mean it to be comical. I just want your opinion, and then I'll hang up. What about this scenario? The generals get on TV, not Biden, and say, this is after.
These generals are a bunch of woke wimps. You know, there was a Steve, don't go anywhere. All right, finish.
Already happened. They're hostages. They're being killed. Whatever. You leave us no choice. If you don't put them on the plane, then I can see.
Have you been watching the press conference with General Milley and this affirmative action guy? That's the defense. What's this affirmative action defense secretary we have? You know, there was a press conference last week that scared the living hell out of me. It was with the Secretary of Defense and General Milley. They asked a question of the Secretary of Defense, who was a 4-star general, mind you, before this. He didn't have an answer. He looked to his right to the Pentagon spokesman, no help. He looked to Milley. Milley didn't say anything, and he stood there for a moment in silence, and Milley came in and answered. We have incompetent liberal wokesters running the military. They're not going to do anything. This General Milley is a coward. That, you know, he went to the church with Trump and then trashed Trump. This guy, no, it's not going to happen. You don't. That's why Trump began his rally with the Patton speech the other day, to show what a real general is like.
I'm trying to say it's a what-if thing. Let's say another.
Well, if we had real men running the military, your scenario would be plausible. Right now,
you would also have to say, to General, that your land will be of no use to you, that the water will be of no use to you.
Oh, you're living in a fantasy. All right, hey, listen, we're short on time, but thanks for the call. Good morning, you're on the radio.
Hey, Brian. Hey, Steve.
Agostino.
How you doing? What's up, Augie?
I just want to tell you real quick, if we had Trump in there, I don't think this thing would all be happening. I think we'd get our Americans out. If the British and the French can get their people out.
Well, this would never have happened if Trump was there. But if Trump was in office today in this current situation, he'd have it fixed by Friday. You know, it'd be fixed by Friday. But they know, that this guy Biden, this president's going to do nothing. He's going to do nothing.
He's weak.
Yes. And Augie, did you see his speech on Saturday night?
President Trump?
Yeah, the one he started with they opened up with the Patton speech. Okay, and what Donald Trump, talk about putting your money where your mouth is. Not only did he have the solution there, he described it in quick, brief terms that were clear to everybody. And if you're sitting there imagining how the enemy felt listening to that, you can understand why.
Yeah.
Shortest battle on record.
Yeah. That's right. All right, now, Agostino, thanks for the call. All right, now, of course, we reported the sad news this morning that Richard Pearl passed away on Saturday. And Steve and I did not know during the show yesterday. We found out after the show was over that he had passed away on Saturday. But I did talk to Richard Pearl's store yesterday, Simply Natural, and they are still open for business. And if there's something you can do to help the family, that is to continue to support Richard Pearl's Simply Natural. They open up at every day of the week at 11 a.m. They're open till 9 p.m. And like with William Youngerman, they ship anywhere. So no matter where you are in America, they will ship to you. And his staff over there, the people that work at Richard Pearl's store have been with him like 25 years, some even longer. So they know the store inside and out. And so if you have any questions, they're able to help you as well. The number is 954-741-4045. 954-741-4045. Simply Natural is located in the city of Sunrise, just north of Sunset Strip, on the east side of University, in the same shopping center as the IHOP. Okay, so you know where it's at. And again, they're open 7 days a week, 11 a.m. until 9 p.m. Well, Steve, we are out of time. You want to sign us off?
Be back tomorrow morning, starting at 6 a.m. Brian will kick us off, and we hope you will be there. Until that time, on behalf of Tyler Kane, our
Steve Kane
technical director, my co-host here.
Hey, we're
Brian
out of time
Craig,
today. I'm sorry. Call back tomorrow, okay? Thanks.
We'll see you tomorrow.
Steve
God bless the USA.
Steve Kane Show. Yeah, we're out of time for today. I'm sorry. We're just signed off. Yeah, call back tomorrow, though, okay? Okay, thanks. All right, guys. Hey, listen. If you're new here, subscribe. And everyone who subscribed, please, before you go, like the video. Like the video, and make sure you have the notification bell clicked, okay? I got to run. I got to go record some commercials with someone next door. But thanks, everyone, for watching.